What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am so excited you are here. We're gonna learn together. This is the Tarver Academy Summer Professional Development. We're gonna learn. Learning's happening. It's going down today. We're about to get started. My name is Tyler. I run Tarver Academy. It's an online resource for teachers and students and educators, and it's a great community where people just get involved and learn and get better. And I throw resources to you guys, throw ideas around. It's just a lot of fun. Just a whole lot of fun, Tarver Academy. So if you need anything, I'm here. TarverAcademy.com has a ton of resources and things that you can go to check out. A little bit about me, just so you know, you don't think I'm just like, hey, here's a random YouTuber talking about, videos or whatever. My name's Tyler. I started out teaching high school math, and then I moved into a tech director / facilitator role. Then I was a principal of a school 6th through 12th grade. 6th through 12th grade. Fun ages. That's good stuff, okay? Good stuff. Never any drama, 6th through 12th grade. No drama. And our school had waivers from the state, so we did a lot of online, we did a lot of blended, we did a lot of in-person learning, all the above. So we get to learn a lot, make some mistakes, do some stuff right, and try to learn from everything we did. Then after that, I went to central office, and I was director of curriculum instruction, and now I'm the dean of NLC College. And I'm so excited to be here, learning and growing with you guys. I'm also giving a little bit of time for people to jump in, get started, and we're about to go through some of the housekeeping stuff. We're gonna do a little check-in right now at the beginning, and then at the end of this video, at the end of this training, we're going to have a chance for you to get a certificate showing that you actually showed up and you did the learning, okay? I think that this training and the other trainings that you are gonna get the chance to be a part of this summer are gonna help you grow as an educator. And if you grow as an educator, all it does is help the students and the community that you live in. And so let's try our best to learn something, take something away from this that we can put in our repertoire and get better with. Okay, so the first thing I need you guys to do is I need us to check in, okay? And this check-in, what it does is it timestamps when you are here so that you might not need this later, but if your administrator or whoever comes back and they're like, how do I know you didn't just click to the end? This shows that you were here at the beginning. So you can scan the QR code that is on the screen if you have your cell phone. And on my phone with me, get your phone out. I'll use my wallet, Atlanta Braves wallet. Film that, you just hold your phone over that QR code that you see on the screen. You'll see something pop up at the top. Click that and it'll take you to where you can fill out that you were here. It's very short, very quick. I'm gonna give you a little bit of time to do that right now. Go ahead, scan the QR code, go to the website, check in, and when you do that, you will get an email. If you do not get an email immediately, this happened, I told you, I was a tech director for a long time, okay? I'd say a long time. I was a tech director long enough to know that if you don't get that email that you're filling out right now, it's because you typed your email address in wrong. That's exactly what happens. 19 times out of 19 and a half times, that's what happens. So go ahead and go to that. Remember, at the end of this session, there's gonna be another QR code that you're gonna scan that is going to give you the certification saying that you actually did the training. Both of these are time-stamped. So if your administrator or whoever's in charge of PD for your district wants to see that and be like, how do I know you did this? You've got your check-in email that is time-stamped by me, not by you. It's into a PDF or it's into that email. And then you will also have the timestamp on your certificate showing that you did this. Okay, so hopefully everybody is getting that done. Okay, giving you a little bit of time. If you have any trouble, just keep trying because I think it's pretty important to get that logged in. Now, while we're doing that, if you're finishing that up, or if you can hear me, what I would love for you to do is I would love for you to hit the red subscribe button. This is my YouTube channel, Tarver Academy. That's what I call it. It's kind of where I got this started. I had this before I had the website, and then I put up the website to put all the resources and all the stuff I was doing. But if you would hit the red subscribe button right now, that would be huge. That would be just super cool of you. And that way, you can hopefully see some of the other trainings that I'm doing, see some videos I do throughout the year to help teachers, to help students, to have fun and learn together. So hit that red subscribe button. Did you do it? Did you? You get the like too, the little thumbs up. That's just YouTube etiquette. You get the thumbs up. It's just really nice to do. So you want to hit the thumbs up button, you can. And I would love to start this. How about this? in the chat, okay? Because if you're watching this on my website, which is where you can watch it, that's fine. You're not gonna see the chat, but if you click and watch this on YouTube, you're gonna see a chat rolling on the side of the screen. Start it off. I want you guys in the chat to say who you are, like give your name, tell us what you teach and where you teach, okay? If you're an administrator, you can say that I'm a principal, or you can say your central office, whatever you do. I've got some people that have signed up for this that are aspiring educators. So this is great to say, I wanna be an educator, I wanna be an English teacher for high school, throw that in there. If you wanna be a kindergarten teacher, toss that in there, say you're in school. It's a great way to network, because I think there is an amazing community of educators here wanting to learn and grow together. And I think that it's great if we look out for each other. So throw in the chat, I want you to say your name, what you teach, and where you teach. Throw that in the chat. All right, man, we're doing good. We're doing good. It's our warm up. We're feeling good. We're stretching it out. It's always good to stretch before you stretch. I don't know, I heard some friends say that, so I say it from time to time. Okay, next thing. This is another little thing. I've got one right here. So I've written a couple books. I've done Superheroes Need Sleep Too. This is a children's book. It's like a nap time book, so you don't have to read that. But this one I think is super relevant for you. This is the Baller Teacher Playbook, and in it I have like practical advice. It's 18 chapters. So the idea is that you could do this like once a week with your team for a full semester, or every other week for a year, and try to improve your teaching every week. I'm not doing this to sell it to you. I'm doing this to say I'm giving some of these away all summer to people that are participating in this. So if you want a chance to win one of these, or I think I probably got some other educator books. If you're like, I don't really want your book, Tyler, I got a ton of educator books. I'll send them to you. All you got to do, follow me on Instagram at Tyler Tarver. Follow me at Tyler Tarver on Instagram, and I'm gonna be giving these out throughout the summer. You might be the person I give it to. So follow me on Instagram, and then throw something in your Instagram story if you want, just to increase your chances of me seeing it. So I'm just gonna be clicking through. I see people follow on Instagram. I'm gonna throw out stuff to them. So random people will get it. You might not, but you won't if you don't. So there we go. Y'all feeling good? Does everybody feel good? Everybody throw in the chat who they are, where they teach, what they teach. Okay, so to explain also what this is, you are watching, this is a live broadcast. So this is going as a YouTube premiere or a full-on live video. So one of the two. Either way, that chat is happening live. Everybody that jumps into this video at any point is gonna be watching it at the same time as you. So it's great to get in the chat and talk, discuss, ask questions, give input. If we ask a question in the video, you can type it in your notes, but you can also type it in the chat. You can copy paste from the chat. It's a great way for you to be a part of this live broadcast, okay? So if you have a Google Notes, if you have a notes document, if you wanna take notes by hand, I've got a template for notes if you want. It sent it to you whenever you filled out your email. It should have been on that page whenever you did your check-in at the beginning. If not, it's on like every PD page. I have my website, tarveracademy.com. Click on PD and you get a free notes template, or you can take notes in your own doc. However you want to do it, take notes, write down stuff that's relevant to you, and copy paste stuff that people put in the chat. There's gonna be people in the chat that are way smarter than me. And so I'd love for you to copy paste that into the notes, and you can take that and make your teaching game elevate. So next thing, while we're getting logged in, people are still jumping in here. They're still jumping in the video, giving you a few minutes to do that. We're also, if you want to watch these videos, because after this ends, it's going to be gone off of here. However, I'm going to be putting all of these trainings, all like 30 something trainings. I think it's over like 120 hours worth of trainings. I'm putting all of that for people that join what I call the Tarver Academy Honor Roll. It's a small group of educators who are trying to get better every week, and I send out weekly emails during the school year to where you're getting templates, you're getting resources, back to school starter kits, you're getting templates for Google Forms, trainings, PDs, tons of stuff every single week delivered to your inbox. And also you have access to all of these trainings. That is available if you go to tarveracademy.com/honor roll if you want to. I think it's a great decision. It's a great decision. Nobody's in here. Who am I talking to? I'm not talking to anybody. Okay, y'all feel good? Y'all ready to start? Y'all feel good? This is a little warm up. We'll explain what's going on. Everybody feel good? 1 to 10. Put in the chat how you feel today. Or give me this, how about this? Give me an emoji of how you're feeling today. That'd be better, 1 to 10, or give me an emoji. I'd love to see it. Or just give me a word. You're like, I don't want to do an emoji. Give me a word. How you feeling today? And let's get rolling. Remember, input in the chat, take notes, learn, grow. Welcome to the best professional development that you're gonna do. Not guaranteed, but it's an opinion, but it's also true, but it might be biased, but it's gonna be a great summer. It's gonna be a great training. Hope you guys learn something. Hope this adds you value that you can then bring to your students and make your school, your community, yourself better in some way. Guys, we're about to get started. Y'all excited? Y'all ready? We're about to do this. Let's get ready to learn and have fun. Tarver Academy. Let's go. Let's go. Hit it. Let's go. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Personalize and Differentiate Your Learning. So, I'm gonna kind of give you an insight as to how today's gonna roll. That way, if you're like, well, I've seen this or this, or if you don't think that it's gonna apply to you, or maybe you've seen portions of it and you're like, I don't really need to lean into that. I don't want you to spend 3 hours learning with me if you already know it or you've already seen it, or you just realize that's not gonna apply to you in your classroom. But I find it difficult to believe that personalizing and differentiating your learning is not going to apply to you. So I'm gonna kind of give you the heads up on the agenda and what today is all about. Today is all about how do we take the tools we have at our disposal, what is the mindset we should have, what is the outlook we should have, and then what templates and tools can we use to improve our students in our classes and the learning that's happening by personalizing and using and leveraging technology to either free us up to learn about our students or to actually just differentiate and learn for us, or differentiate and add that personalization for us. Okay, so this is how it's gonna roll. So the first off, I've got some video from a presentation I did for the Bahamas Catholic Board of Education, and they were absolutely phenomenal, and they were super kind, and I got the chance to talk with Janelle, and she was wonderful, and they were so kind to let me come chat with their teachers. And that's exactly what I talked about, was personalizing and differentiating your learning. So we're actually gonna start with kind of how I started the conversation with them about how we can, mindsets we can use, different ways we can look at it. And I talk a little bit about, if you've heard me talk about the fail bail, I'm gonna tell that story. Bail, why do I talk? The fail bail. I have such a Southern accent and it's too strong. So we're gonna talk about some mindsets to have in our classroom and how our students can feel empowered to know that they have the chance to try things, and then also be approachable with us so that we can better learn them and better personalize the learning. Now, after that, we're gonna get into some actual, like, how do we do this? How do we create a Google form that differentiates based on student answers? We're gonna walk through that. We're doing a walkthrough, so you're gonna create with me, you're gonna walk through and hopefully make that with me. I have templates at tarveracademy.com/resources, but hopefully you can walk through that. Now, after that, we're gonna talk about how do we personalize the feedback that our students get through Google Forms. Like, how can we do it to where you get a correct answer, you get a certain response or assignment or task, and then if you get a correct response, you get a certain assignment or task. So we're gonna try to personalize the feedback as best we can through Google Forms after we talk through those other things. Then we're gonna go in and we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna create with Canva. If you haven't used Canva, I talk about Canva like they pay me. They don't. But I love their product, and so I'm gonna shout about it from the rooftops because I think it can help you in your class, especially when it comes to personalizing your class to where students have ownership. So we're actually gonna talk through how to create Google Classroom headers. I'm gonna be talking about creating, I think they were Christmas ones that I was creating, and you can obviously create with me at the same time. And I want you to make them for your class however you deem necessary. You probably don't want to create Christmas ones, that's fine. But you can come up with fun sayings and things that can brand your class and let students feel like they're part of a community. After that, I've got my friend Stephanie Howell, and she's gonna talk to you about personalized learning and something she's created called the grid method. Now, this was a pre-recorded session, and so she's actually doing some walkthroughs with people online. So you're gonna see it. You're not gonna be able to jump in and actually edit and change it with her. However, you can go into your own, create your own, or get her templates and use those and create from there. Because I think it's a really cool method to tracking student progress and also seeing individualized, personalized, where they are in the learning process. And the last thing we're gonna end with today is I'm actually going to show you the end of my presentation that I made, and we're going to skip some of the stuff in the middle, and then I'm going to lean into just a quick run through of some of the templates and resources you can use, and I'm going to give you links to that presentation. I'll give you the link to the presentation at the very beginning. It's bit.ly/Tarver Personalize. So look for that link in the QR code whenever we first start, after I get into talking right now, because you're about to see the presentation. You can go in and pull links and resources from that presentation. Hope this helps you. I hope it adds you value, and I hope you get something out of it, and it helps you get better as a teacher and as an educator so that your students can get better and benefit from all of the things that you're doing and trying in your class. So here we go. We're about to get started, and we're about to start with personalize and differentiate your learning. Here we go. So if you want this presentation, I've got links in here to different templates. If you want to get your phone out, open the camera app, and you can zoom in on that QR code. You can open up this exact presentation so that you can go in and you can make copies of whatever you want, and you can have it forever. Like, you can use it, you can do whatever. So if you don't remember what I said, that's fine. But I would love for you to be able to take these things and adapt them for your class. If you want that, you can go ahead and do that, or you can go to the link on the page, bit.ly/Tarver Personalize. So if you're wondering, I'm going to talk through, as I do this, I want to talk through some of the things I've used in this so you can personalize and differentiate in your classroom. So first thing is, I use these two websites. I use Bitly, because that allows me to make a short link. So in here, do you see how it says bit.ly/Tarver Personalize? That's just one easy way you can personalize just links that you give your students. When your students create resources, you can personalize that with Bitly, and it's a free website where you can do custom short links. And then, has anybody used Canva? Have you guys used Canva? Anybody? It is absolutely incredible for creating like lesson plans. You can create Google Classroom personalized headers. You can turn your class, and it's like, you know how students feel about companies like Nike or I don't know what's Reebok, Adidas, how they feel about these companies. They can feel that way about your class. They can feel a connection to your class because you can essentially brand around this community and this thing for your school and your classroom, and you can make all those things in Canva. So I just want to give you a little heads up on kind of some of the experiences I've had, the teams I've gotten to be a part of, so you can kind of have some context. I'm not just like, hey, look, there's some guy on screen who was on the YouTube and made a cat video, and now he's talking to us. I want to show you some of the stuff that I've gotten the chance to do. I started out teaching math, and then I became a principal of a school. And then in that school had like a lot of online, it had in person, then it had blended learning. So like, we were doing a lot of the stuff we had to do in 2020. We were doing it by choice in 2017. And so we got the chance to try a lot of this stuff. And, I don't know if you may have had nothing but successes, but I know that what we did is, whenever we jumped into that, we learned a lot. We had some failures when it came to how we address students virtually, and how we assign things, and how we, like, the time frames we gave students. We learned a lot in that process, and I'm sure you guys did as well. And that's one thing that I learned in that process, is that even as an educator, we can't just say we want to create lifelong learners. We have to be lifelong learners. Anybody out there? Clap your hands twice if you want to be a lifelong learner. Anybody? I'm going to clap twice because I know I want to be a lifelong learner. I want to keep getting better for myself, because when teachers get better, everyone gets better. Whenever we get better, our students get better. After I was a principal, I went to central office, and I was like the role of like a director of curriculum instruction. So I would go and I would help with all of the curriculum for the whole district, and get the chance to work with teachers and principals. And now I'm the dean of a college. And so, like you guys said earlier, I'm on YouTube, I'm on TikTok, I'm pretty much everywhere. So if you ever need anything, reach out to me. I help any way I can. As soon as I see the email, whether it's 10 minutes later or 10 days later, I always respond to it. So I just want to give you guys that. Now I want to chat with you guys about something I got the chance to be a part of, and something I learned from that. Has anybody out there
been perfect, like never messed up on anything? There's always, is there one or two? I'm sure there's one or two. You guys look fantastic. So from a distance, you guys look fantastic. So I'm sure there's several of you that are being humble. You know why? Because you're perfect, and you know that that's the right choice, is to be humble. And so one thing that I got the chance to be a part of a couple years ago was the Google Innovator Academy. It's where they bring educators in to like work on projects that they feel like can make a difference in education, either at their school or their classroom, or maybe at multiple schools around, around the world. And so whenever we got in there, we're sitting in these round tables. Everybody's in these little groups. And this person from Google comes out. And when you guys think of Google, you probably don't think of a failure, right? They're one of the biggest companies in the world. A lot of what they do is very successful, but we don't think of them as failures. Well, this person, this Googler, if you will, they put on the screen a picture of all these programs that Google had tried that didn't work. So, like, I don't know if you guys remember Google Glass. They were glasses that, I don't know, had computer in them or something. Nobody wears them because they didn't take off. Google Plus. I don't know if you guys remember Google Plus. It was going to replace Facebook, and we all use Google Plus, don't we, every day? No, we don't, because it didn't work. They had to drop the program. And they talk about all these little failures they had, and some of them were very big public failures. All these failures that they had that led to the successes that they had. They talked about whenever we have a failure, we learn from it. We reflect on it. We don't ignore it and act like it never happened. We're proud of that failure, because from that failure, we know we're going to pull things that are going to make successes for our company. And so they had this idea, and I've talked to teachers about doing this in their classes to create a culture of constant learning, and not you pass or you fail. It's a culture of learning. So at those round tables, every single table had a little bell. Do y'all know those bells where it's like you can ring it if you need service at, wherever, like a hotel or something? They had these little bells at the tables. And if while we're working on our project, which we proposed and we care so much about, and we feel like is going to make a difference in education, whenever we are sitting there and we're working on that project, if at any point we realize during that week training, during that week while we're building out our project, if we're like, this is not the best version of what I can do, or you know what, this already exists, I don't need to make this, or this isn't going to be as effective for my students as I think it is. If we realize that our project, which we love and care about and built and created, if it's not going to work, we would sit there and we would ring those bells. We would ring those bells. They called those the fail bell. We ring them whenever we failed. And if anybody in that room heard someone at any table ring a bell, we would all start cheering for their failure. And traditionally in education, we don't think it's something we don't like. When a student gets an F in a class, we don't say, oh, yay, let's cheer for that F. But what we can do, what we can learn from this is, when we're teaching, we need to try new things. We need to try things that are out of the box, or things that we might not initially feel comfortable trying because we haven't done it before. But with that, we have to let our students know that it's okay to try something, to reach and try to expand yourself and try to do something better, even if you're not successful with that. From that little failure, you can learn and make big successes. And so, if you create and cultivate a culture of it's okay to fail, as long as we learn from that failure. Whenever you do homework, whenever students do homework and they're working a problem or they're trying to write something, whenever they do something and, like, say they're working on that, do you walk up to them and say, hey, you know what? This one problem, you did it incorrectly. You failed. You're done here. No, we try to teach them and help them learn from that small mistake so that they can build to big successes in their classes. And I just want to say, I didn't plan on saying this, but I want to talk about this too. With education, a lot is changing. A lot is rapidly changing with education, because They have these cell phones. They have these little devices, these remote controls to our lives. Students have these in their pockets. When they grow up, they're going to, most of them are going to have a cell phone probably. And we have to sit there and think like, what am I doing in my classroom when a student can just go on YouTube and watch a teacher teach that exact lesson? Or they can go out and find it on Google, or they can go learn it from anywhere. A lot of teachers might feel like I'm obsolete. Do I matter as a teacher if a student can just get out their phone and search something and learn it from anybody around the world? And do I matter because YouTube can take my spot? I would say when we talk about personalizing learning, that is what makes the difference. We are more important than we've ever been as educators. With the increase of technology, we are so important because what our job now is not to stand in front of them and show them all the things we know. Let me tell you what I know. Let me show you how much I know about this fact in history, or this math equation, or this science project. Let me show you how much I know. It's not about us knowing everything anymore. It's about us knowing our students. It's about us knowing how Johnny or Sally or whoever in our class, how they learn, what they need to learn, what they care about, and how to connect our content to what they actually care about and what they actually want to do with their lives, and to bridge those gaps in their learning. Our job as educators is no longer to be the expert in the classroom. Our job is to cultivate learning. Our job is to guide the social process of learning. We need to go in and we need to learn our students. So when we know our curriculum, after a year or two, you know your curriculum. So your job now is not to learn about your curriculum, it's to learn about your students. Those young people that you have been gifted, whether they're kindergarten or they're about to graduate. It is our job to go in and learn them and learn how they learn, and then do our best to tailor the learning around what's going to make them the most successful human beings that we can. So whenever we talk about modern education, we talk about teaching, we talk about what mindset filters we should run our decisions through. I've tried to narrow that down to three things that I think are the keys to modern teaching, the keys to teaching right now and for years to come. And when I talked to you guys, when I just said, I was like, you need to learn your students, you need to personalize your learning. A lot of you guys might have thought, you know what, Tyler, I don't have time to do that. I have 20 students, I have 120 students. I don't have time to personalize my learning for every single student. We need to learn, where can we be more efficient? Where can we save time as educators so that we can spend more time learning our students? And so as we keep talking today, I want you to think through, how can I use that resource or that template? How can I use that? And then how can I transition that to help my students learn, because I'm spending more time learning them, and it saved me time on the back end. The second thing is communication. We talked about earlier, we need to be clear communicators. Our students, they need to know exactly what's expected of them. We need to know, hey, these are the expectations for my class. Not only do you need to be clear in how you communicate with them, but we want to look at today some resources we can use so that they can be clear when they communicate with us. How important is it for students to be able to approach us and let us know when they're not feeling well, when they're going through something, when they have a struggle and we don't know about it? That's a barrier. That's an invisible wall that we don't know about in that classroom. And we can look at ways to utilize templates, technology, and build community so that students feel comfortable communicating with us. And the last one, which I just mentioned, is community. We need to build a community in our classrooms. It can no longer be like, oh, they come to my class to learn this and then they go home. They come to my class for this amount of time and then they leave. We need to build a community where students and teachers support each other and help grow together as a group, as a team, as opposed to a bunch of individuals. So there are some tricks in here on how to build community, whether you're in person or you're teaching online.
All right. So that's kind of the mindset. That's the framework for how we want to approach trying things, whether it's your students trying it or you trying it. How can we create that mindset and that journey towards personalizing the education? Because in the past, the way education used to be, it was almost impossible. You got 30 students or 100 students or more, and you're trying to personalize for that many students, it's impossible. You could spend every waking moment and you can't do it. But when we leverage technology, it can free us up to focus on our students as individuals and also kind of streamline a lot of that process. So coming up next, I'm actually going to walk you through how to make a Google form differentiate based on the answers that someone chooses. So if you can use my template. I've got it, tarveracademy.com/resources. I've got a Google form differentiation template that you can use, or you can create your own. We're going to walk through it together and we're going to learn as we go. Here we go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler here again, and I wanted to show you today how to create. It can be an assignment, it can be a quiz, it can be a test. Well, I wouldn't do it for a test. Assignment, quiz, whatever you want to do for your class, where based on the student answers, they can get a video tutorial walking them through that exact same question or whatever it is they're needing to learn. Okay. Now you can do this with your own videos. You can do it with videos you find on YouTube, etc. It's not like revolutionary to show a student a tutorial video afterwards, but the idea for this is that if they miss the question, they have to watch and take notes in the tutorial. If they don't miss it, they can move on. So it's allowing your students who understand it and are doing getting the answers correct to not waste time with something they already know. And it allows your students that are struggling with that particular portion of the problem to go in and get more help. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to do it. I've already got a Google form started here. And since I'm going to make this a template that you guys can have and anybody can have, I'm going to explain what it is. Let's say, this is say it is going to have them watch a video explaining what they missed only if they miss the question. Okay. Now, I taught high school math, so I'm going to think through the math side of it. But if you teach anything besides math, this can be applied to that as well. Okay. So don't think this is just for you. Okay. We're going to incorporate some higher level Google Forms skills in this. So if you don't know how to do that, just pause, rewind if you can. If you're watching it live, then you can't. But you could. I've got video tutorials on all this, so I can walk you through it. All right, so I've got it started. All I've got so far is email address. I need to go ahead and add a question. Let's do, I've got it to where it gathers a student's email address automatically. I recommend that on every Google form because that way you don't have to worry about them typing in like their regular Gmail. You have to, automatically get their school account, and you can restrict it to just people in your domain. If they're like, I don't have access, it means that they're signed into the wrong account. Okay, so let's get first name. This short answer, and then we're going to duplicate it. And I want both of those to be required. So this right here is on. Sweet last name. And you can do, class period. If you have class periods, you can do class period. And then you could have multiple choice and then put in, how many class periods you have. But there you go. And then I always like to add in a fun question, something to get to know them. What's your favorite TV show right now? And then I can delete these, make this, or I can just make this a short answer. I always like to do this because one, they get a question. They get a question that they automatically know they got right, whether you give credit for it or not. But and then also I like to add in the description because you want to let them know a little bit about you. It say mine is WandaVision. I don't know. I don't know if Vision's capitalized. Let's do it. Okay. All right. You know what? I am going to add there's one more thing I always add at the beginning, and I'd feel bad if I didn't tell you guys. Let's do one more question, and this is going to be a scale question. So I'm going to go to linear scale, and I'm going to say, how confident are you in what you're about to complete? I get the generic so that if I go in and make a copy of this form in the future and use it for different assignments, I'll just be swapping out videos and text and not this part. Okay, and we'll rank it 1 to 10 because 5 is not enough. No clue. And then 10 will be labeled, I remember and know this 100%. Okay. So, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to hit up here and let's eyeball. I'm going to go to preview. And this can show me, so far, this is all my quiz is. And this is what it'll look like. How confident are you about what you're about to complete? And that gives you a chance for the student to go in and be like, okay, well, I know this, or if I'm comfortable with this, especially if it's a quiz. Highly recommend it for a quiz. Okay, let's go back to the form. Now, I don't want, you can't do it for what we're about to learn. You don't want it to be a long, like one long form. You want it to be different pages. They call them sections on here. I call them pages, which is probably wrong, but we need to create a new section. So what I'm going to do is this right here. You see this equal sign on the far right? That's going to add in a section. Okay. See, there's this break, and this is important. It's going to come in handy later. Okay. So see there it says continue to next section. This is where you're going to be able to skip sections based on certain things, which we're going to get to that. Okay. So I want to go in and I want to create, we'll do a 5-question test. And I'm trying to make this generic, not just like math, but I need to show you an example of what it would look like. And so we're going to go with it. So we'll do question 1. Okay. And then I'm going to add in the question. Now, we'll just do this. We'll do 1. And then it's going to be, we're not going to ask the question yet. Okay, I'm trying to tell you the best way to do this. Okay, remember, think through what would work for your class and what works best for them. Okay, now, this is where I call it like a hack. This is where I call it like you're working through, is because you're working backwards. You're wanting to go in, and my end result is if they get it wrong, that they get a tutorial. Well, what I want to do so that tutorial is actually tailored to that exact question, I want to go find the tutorial video first. Okay. So what does that look like? Let me explain. It's going to make sense if I'm not being clear. So I'm going to go to my YouTube channel. You can go to your YouTube. You can go to anywhere you want. You can do this as you create the assignments. If you're creating your own videos, this is a fantastic little hack. Okay. So I'm going to pause that. So I'm going to search. By the way, if you don't know how to search within a specific YouTube channel, you just click this little magnifying glass. And let's say we're doing, let's do slope. Okay. I'm going to do slope. That's an example. We want to find, there we go. Here's a problem right here. How to find slope. So say I'm just doing like a traditional math quiz. So here's what I would do. So I am going here. Boom. Wow, that's a terrible look. There we go. That's a little better. That's still, why is my face like that? I'm so sorry.
Passes through 1, 3 and 4 negative.
Okay, there we go. All right, sorry, that face is bothering me. All right, that's the only face I got, so can't help it. Sorry. So here's the hack. Here's the trick. Okay, you ready? We want them to answer this question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the video and I'm going to pause it. And this could go, remember, any subject you want. I'm going to go in and I'm going to screenshot this question. So with a Mac, that's Command-Shift-3. With a Chromebook, I don't know what it is. We just Google whatever device you have and then say how to screenshot. So I'm going to screenshot that. Okay. Now what that does is that saves that picture. I'm going to go back over here. And what I want to do is I want to go over here to this. Do you see this little chicken nugget? I'm going to click on that. And then I am going to find that photo. I'm going to upload it from my desktop, which is where my screenshots go. And now I don't have to type that problem, which is another frustration for math teachers. I'm going to go in. There's the question. And now guess what? I can just go in here and I can find out whatever I got as the answer. Let's see. What is the slope of a line? Okay, so it looks like it was -2 over 1, so that's going to be -2. So I'm going to put that answer in, -2. Okay, now here's the deal. This is a fun thing for any multiple choice exam you make. It doesn't have to be just 4. 4 means they have 25% of guessing their way through it. So I'm going to do -2. I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do 1 over 2. I'm going to do -1 over 2. I'm going to do, -12. I'm going to do +12. I'm going to do 1. I'm going to do -1. I'm going to do everything that I can. I'm going to do 3, -3. Like, you can do as many as you want. You can do 15 of these options. It keeps them from being able to guess their way through it. Okay? Now, I've got this, and I've got my answer in there, and I remember it's -2. Now, here's what I want to do next. I've created the question. I took the video, which is where they'll go if they miss it. I created the question from that video. Okay? I put that in here, so they've got this question, the screenshot of this. Then I want to make another section where they'll go to if they get it wrong. Okay, you ready? This is what that looks like. So I'm going to go, I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to call this, what was this, question 1? This will be question 1 help. Question 1, let's not call it help. Let's call it reinforcement. Okay, now I'm going to click add. I'm going to add this, and let's say, hold on. I want to change this to a video. So I'm going to click, see over here on the right, see that little play, add video? That's what I want to do. I was going to add a video. Okay, now I'm going to go get the video that I just got that from. I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to go to URL. I'm going to paste. Bam. Now I'm inserting the exact video. Now I'm going to tell them, I'm going to say, watch this video. Then I need them to show that they're like, oh, okay, this is what I should have done up here. I need to add a description. Okay, I need to add a description. I need to say, where is it? Description. Make sure you show your work on your paper. I will be checking for this. Okay, there you go. Here's what you're going to do. This is what I do on this side. I'll go for their assignment, for their question is watch, while watching the video, compare with your notes from the last question. Tell me, type below where you messed up. Okay. Now, this way, they're not only watching the previous video, but they're comprehending what they just did, and then they're going to be explaining it to you. It's just like you want them to go deeper and not just, oh, I got it wrong. Because it's too often they get it wrong, they move on. We want them to analyze it and then go in and, and then figure out where they messed up so they don't make the same mistake later. Okay? So here's another thing I would add, and I've never done this on one of these, but I would do this as well. Because most students, if they have a Chromebook or a camera or whatever they've got that they're using as a device, as long as that is a camera, have them do this. I want to hit add question, and I want to go to file upload. Okay? I want to hit continue. This will allow them to take a picture of that equation. So I'm going to say, take a picture of your work from this problem. You could even add this in the other one, like where they're working out the equation if you wanted to. That's another option. Only allow specific types of files. We'll do, we want an image. So PDF, image. Let's not do PDF. Let's just do an image. That way they have to take a picture. Okay, there you go. So now here, okay, so we're going to go back to the other question. You ready? So what we did was we arranged it to where from the video, we took the question. That was the question they took up front before ever seeing the video. Then if they get the question right, they're going to skip this. If they get the question wrong, then they're going to have to watch this section right here, watch the exact video explaining the exact question, tell us what they got wrong, and then upload a picture of their notes, okay? So they got a little bit more work to do if they get it wrong. Now, you could move this up into the other one to where you see their work from the problem. that actually isn't a bad idea, especially if you're doing it digitally. I think I might move this up. We're moving it up. Sorry, I think it's a better idea to move this up. Have every single student take a picture of their work from that problem and upload it. So I'm going to move it. I just click these 3 little dots. See those 6 dots? 3. I know how to count. Move it up. I want to move it up here. And I'm going to put it right here. Okay, so now it's on the same page as where they work. So every student has to upload the photo of their work. There you go. That's what I would do. Okay. Now, what we want to do is we want to do this. We need to have it reallocate. I say reallocate. It needs to send students. Okay, try to explain this best. This is where they answer the question. If they get it right, we want them to move on to the next question. If they get it wrong, we want them to go down to what we just created, which is that video where they have to tell us what they missed and why. Okay? Sound good? Now, what I need to do is I need to add one more section. I'm going to add a new section, and this is going to be question 2. We're not going to do question 2 because we got to go in and do what I just showed you. Question 2. Okay. So we're in here. We're on question 1. Now I need to tell it where to go based on what answer they put. Okay, so I'm here. I'm on all the answers. Remember, this one's the correct answer, which we're going to get to that. I want to go here. Oh, we need to do it to where it grades itself as well, don't we? Let me see. Let's go to settings, quizzes, and I'm going to turn this into a quiz. Immediately after each submission. We'll do later after manual review. We want to check over this and send it out whenever we want. So here we go. So I need to click on answer key, and I need to tell them which one is the correct answer. -2 is the correct answer, hopefully, if I got it right in the video. So there we go. We can add answer feedback. That's for another time. We're going to hit done. So I've got one correct answer. The check mark shows me it's correct. Now, this is where we have a differentiate based on whatever they put in there. So we're going to click these 3 dots. We're going to go to set to section based on answer. We can also do shuffle option, the order. That's a good idea because we don't want the first one to always be the correct one. I always put it in first so I don't forget to put the right answer in. But we don't want to always be the first one because the students will figure that out. They're like, just pick A every time. Go to section based on answer. This is where Google Forms makes the big money. Okay. Now, so we want this one, -2. We don't want it to continue the next section. We want it to skip this. Next section is question 1 reinforcement. We want to skip that if they get it correct. So we want to go to question 2. This is why it's very important to title these sections. Okay. Question 2. Now, do you see why I waited until I created the next section and section 2 before I went back and told it where to go? It's because the sections didn't exist. I couldn't put them anywhere. So that one's going to go there. Everyone else continues to the next section. All these others that get it incorrect, they're going to go to reinforcement. Okay. Now, once they get done with reinforcement, everybody moves on to question 2, which is the next section. And that's it. That's how you would do this example. I can go in. Let's see. Here's what we got. I'm going to make this to where it's a template for you guys to use. If you want it, go to tarveracademy.com/resources. If you want this, let me make this on screen. There we go. I'm going to go make this a template. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete my picture. And I'm going to get a video of like what it, afterwards. So I'm going to try to explain. Whenever I do these forms and I make it a template, I always try to explain. I've got a template on my website of this where it is like a math and you can just swap out the math stuff. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and create at least 3 questions and make it to where it goes in and it says, hey, put this in here, do this in here. Those are the instructions. Okay, that's what I got. Thank you guys. Hope this helped. Hope you learned something and keep learning. Never stop learning is what some people say. That's what I say in my book. What's up? Follow Teacher Playbook. That's what's up. It's the last chapter. Spoiler alert. Y'all be good. Stay sweet. Never stop learning.
All right. Now we're going to talk through personalizing the feedback that students get from a Google form. Whenever they're answering these questions, how do we personalize the feedback that we want to give them? So we're going to talk through that. Hopefully you can work through with me. You can take some templates or you can build it as we go. I want you to actually do this stuff. So that way when you it's not you're trying to like memorize me talking about it and watching, it's you actually doing. How much more do you learn when you do versus when you hear or see? So here we go. We're going to personalize feedback in Google Forms. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Google Forms. It's an intermediate level skill we're going to work on. I know I've done a lot of stuff with beginners, getting started, jumping into the pool, if you will. We're swimming around in the shallow end. And now we're gonna hold our breath and we're gonna dive down deep into the deep end. We're gonna see if we can touch the bottom and swim right back up. That analogy went on longer than I thought it would, but here we are. So the thing I want to talk to you about first, before we get into some resources and like a deeper dive into some of the stuff you can do with Google Forms, I wanted to really lean into what is it that we could do built in to Google Form. Like say you've started doing quizzes or tests. We're going to do that toward auto grades. And then we want to look at how do we give feedback. So the two things we're going to talk about in this part of the session is how do we set up an exam? And then how do we give automated feedback based on, how our students do. And so those are two things. I'll repeat it one more time. You ready? Starting with quizzes, how to make it auto grade. And I know a lot of you guys have done that probably. That's fine. We're going to talk about it with multiple choice. We're going to do checkbox. And we're also going to talk about it with short answer. And then we're going to use a few of those questions that we create, and we're going to give automated feedback for our students. The more you're not being lazy. When you have stuff auto grade or automate, you're not being lazy, you're being efficient, okay? You're still getting a report of who missed what question, what they put, what did they put wrong. You're still getting all these reports, and you're gonna be able to go back and follow up individually on these. Working on my dissertation, there's a research study I looked at where they found that if a student watches a video to learn versus listening to you talk in a Zoom call, there's the same amount of learning taking place, whether it's pre-recorded and they're watching it on their own or they're watching it with you. The significant increase in learning happens when that educator follows up individually with those students. So the most important thing you're doing is save your time here so you can follow up individually with students to see what they need help with, see where they're struggling, to see what gaps you need to bridge in their learning. So let's start it off. We're going to start it off with this blank form, and we are going to make it into a 3-question quiz, a 3-hour tour. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and title it. Always title your forms. That's just good practice, really. So let's go ahead and title it. We'll just call this, presidential history. Say you're studying presidential history. Remember, up here where it says untitled form, you could just click there after you give it a header, and it's going to fill it in with whatever it is. You can always edit if you need to, but those two are linked whenever because Google wants you to name your forms. They don't want you to search and not know where it is. Okay. So in some of the other trainings I've done, I've gone through the different types of questions. What I want to talk about right now is how do we get it to auto grade? So I'll say this, we'll start easy. Who was the first president of the United States? There we go. We're so close. Okay, so I'm going to give it say it's multiple choice. There's only one correct answer. We'll say, Tommy Jefferson. We'll say, throw Benjamin Franklin in. Really want to know who's not paying attention to your history class. Benjamin Franklin. Grab the guy that's not even, wasn't even a president. We'll say John Madison. John Madison. That's what I think of every time. And George G-Dub. G-Dub, George Washington. Okay? Okay. You really want to mess with your students when you do a multiple choice test, add other to it. That really messes with their brains. They're just like, it could be any of these, or it could not even be on here. They're tricking us. That's how you really find out if they know, what they're talking about. So what we want to do is we want to go in and we want to turn this into a quiz. Unless you've taken something you've done as a quiz and then you've duplicated it to make it into like a template that you just edit or adjust, I would highly recommend that you make sure that you actually have it turned on as a quiz, which I say highly recommend 5 more times. I highly recommend that once you build out a quiz or a test or a review, just duplicate that. Don't start from scratch. I started from scratch here because I want to show you, but in the future, don't start from scratch. Once you build a template you like, just use that template. Okay. Just roll with that. So I'm going to go up here to my settings in the upper right-hand corner, a little gear. I'm going to click on the gear. And I want to go over to the right where it says quizzes. Now, again, I feel pretty comfortable with Google Forms. I still go through all of these every time. I'm not going to do that because that's what I covered in the other one. But if it's a quiz, I probably don't want to submit another link. But I'm going to go here to quizzes. Okay. We're going to turn this on and we're going to make this a quiz. Default is that it is not a quiz. Now, when you do that, I'm not signed into I am signed into my organizational one, but you're going to have an option here with your school that says only allow responses from people in your domain. I always have that turned on. And if you ever have a student, if you have that turned on and a student's like, I don't have access, it says I don't have access, they're requesting access, it means they're not logged into their school account every single time. Okay. So giving you the heads up on that. Okay. So we made it a quiz. Do we want them to get their grades immediately, or do we want to review everything? If you have like essays or, maybe some crazy like longer short answer stuff that you want to check over and grade, then you probably need to do after a manual review, but you could always just do immediately if you feel good. Like say it's mostly multiple choice. This one's probably going to be the option you pick most of the time. And these, you got to think through, like, are you worried about your students, screenshotting these answers and saving them for the kids next year, or the kids in like the class period, or if they have a friend that took the test late? Is that something that you want to have turned on? I would say you leave them on because that way they can see what they missed, but then you just got to be aware if they screenshot it and send it on to, their friends that are in the grade below. Okay. All right. So we have our quiz turned on. And what that changes is this right here. Do you see where it says answer key? I can click on that and I can change how many points this question is worth. I can go up or down, whatever I want. Now there's a way to change the settings on this. I don't know. Let me see. There's a way to change your default point setting. I think it's right here. Preferences. So I clicked on the three dots. Looks like a CrossFit snowman. Go down to preferences. You can choose like what the default is that it collects their emails. You can make all the questions required as the default. And then you can set your default point value. Let's make them 10 points each. Okay. So that'll be my default in the future whenever I do it because I selected it for my account. So there we go. We had that tip. I didn't know I was going to do that, but here we are. Okay. So now I went to answer key. I selected how many points I want this worth. And now I need to select the correct answer. So we're going to say it's George Washington because it's the correct answer. Now let's say it was the thing. It was like, who were two of the first three presidents? You can do multiple correct answers. Keep this in mind. It is a multiple choice test, so they can only select one answer. Don't be like, click the two presidents and then make that a multiple choice. That needs to be a checkbox. Checkbox, you can select multiple answers if you're the student. Here, I'm only selecting one. Whenever I select multiple correct answers, I'm saying either of these will work, not that you have to select both of them. So if that doesn't make sense, let us know in the chat and we'll fix it. Okay. So we're just going to say George Washington is the correct answer. Now, let's say I want to add answer feedback. Okay. This is, we're going to do this. You know what? Let's stick to this. I'm going to show you a few of these and then we will roll into the feedback. Okay. We're not going to jump into that yet. Okay. There we go. Correct answer. Bam. Hit done. That locks it in. So it shows me this green, you'll see that green check mark. That means that is a correct answer. Okay, so I can start from scratch on my next question, or I can just duplicate this. So let's duplicate it. Select, let's do a checkbox one. Select everyone. Select each name that was a president of the United States. Be clear, because they could be president of the Rotary Club. All right. We need to turn this. If I want them to select multiple, I need to turn it into checkboxes. Okay. So I'm going to click checkboxes. Now that means it's going to be a box. See where this is a circle? These are now boxes. Okay. Now I want to add some more. I'm going to add Alexander Hamilton. I want to add, let's add, Abe Lincoln. Now I cannot say Lincoln without thinking of Matthew McConaughey rolling around in his Lincoln doing this. Now you know what the thing about, and that's not very good. What's a good Matthew McConaughey? All right now.
All right, all right. I'm not very good at. What's your favorite Matthew McConaughey quote? Did y'all read his book, Green Light? It was pretty good. I was pretty impressed. Probably shouldn't read it though. I think he cusses in it, so don't read it. Okay, so here we go. So what we need to do is we want to go in and select our answers because George Washington is not the only answer anymore. Okay, we want to go to answer key and we want to select multiple choices. So everybody that was president, so Jefferson, Madison, and Lincoln. Okay, and then there we go. So these are all the correct answers. So I'm going to hit done. Okay, so now it's showing me the correct answers. Then let's do another one. Let's do one more, and we're going to do a short answer. And I'm going to say, do I know the first vice president was the first? Oh my goodness. In the chat, tell me the first vice president of the United States. Did Washington have a vice president? Would it have been John Madden? Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to Google this. Let's do this. Sorry. Who was let's see if y'all are right. President. John Adams. I'm saying John Madison. Was John Madison? Oh my goodness. I'm thinking Billy Madison. John Madison. Okay, good. Whew. For a second, I was scared, because right now, all these John's names are running together in my head. I'm so sorry. John Adams. That's the one I was thinking of. John Adams. So, okay, let's do this. Who was the first vice president of the United States? That's not how you spell the, Tyler. Okay, short answer, and we want this to be auto grade. You can do that with short answer as well. So we're going to go to answer key. Okay, and what we're going to do is we are going to add the correct answer. So we're going to say John Adams. Okay, now here's what you can do. You can select multiple correct answers. So let's say that I'm okay with them just saying Adams, Vice President Adams, Johnny Adams. What else is a correct answer? I don't know. John feels like, there's 18 presidents named John. So let's say, what is the most common? Isn't William the most common president name? In the chat, let me know. What is the most common president name of the United States presidents? I think it's William. I'm pretty sure it's William. All except Mr. Adams. We'll say that too. John Adams. Well, just in case there's a kid that's really funny, he's like, John Adams. I can make that a correct answer as well, just if a kid just really goes for it. Okay. Now, here's what you need to do. I want these to all be my options for correct answers. I want to mark all other answers incorrect. Okay. So now what I've done is we have done a multiple choice that auto grade. We've done a checkbox that auto graded, and now we've done a short answer that auto graded. Okay. So let's go in and let's show you how to add feedback. Okay. So let's go hit answer key. And now I want to go to add answer feedback. So what it's going to do is I have the option to add feedback based on if they got it correct or incorrect. So all of my correct answers, they're going to get one response. And all of my incorrect answers, they're going to get another response. You can't split it up by well, if they pick Thomas Jefferson, I want them to know, it's all the incorrect answers, all the correct answers. Okay. So let's say they got it correct. I want to say, congrats. You so smart. And then we could even add a video or a link. So let's add a video. You are smart. Okay. I don't know what this is. Okay. Let's just say this was something I've seen before that just says they're really smart. So I'm going to hit select. Now, if they get it correct, they will now see it say, congrats, you're so smart for this question. Because remember, we're giving itemized feedback. Congrats, you are so smart, you so smart, and you have this video. Now I want to do an incorrect answer. So some ideas for this. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll explain what they got wrong. So I could say, if it's math, hey, make sure that you plug it back into the problem. Or, you could even give them further instructions like, hey, watch or say this, read this article and write, 200 words on, George Washington. I need to say cite. Read this cite and write 200 words on George Washington in your own words. So it's like I'm giving them more assignments based on them getting it wrong. So I'm gonna hit this, and let's go to, I need to find a link. So let's go George Washington facts. Facts. It's a thing. Do people still say that? Key facts about George Washington. I'm going to take this link, and then I'm going to toss it right here. Link to that. I'm going to paste, and then this is text. Like I can, if I want to, I can add text to display. So I can say, facts about GW. Okay, hit save. So incorrect, correct. This is what they'll see if they get it correct. And I'm able to see feedback for correct answers. Congrats, you're so smart. Feedback for incorrect answers, this, and then it has a link to it. So I'm at done. Okay, same thing here. You can do the same thing for checkboxes. You can do the same thing for, what is this? Short answer. Okay, so you have your options. All right, let's go in and see what it looks like for the student. So we can do this. So, oh man, I'm signed into that account. I didn't mean to sign in. That was the ish. That's why I couldn't see that. I'm going to share it with my other account. So I'm going to hit add collabs, add collaborators. Remember, when you're adding collaborators, I'm not sharing this with students. I'm sharing this with another teacher. So let's do that. Him, that's me. Him is me. Okay. So I want to go in and take this test. Let's go to classroom and we'll assign it. We're going to go in. Why'd you log me out, Google? In the chat, while we're going to classroom, what LMS do you use? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like it? That's what I would love to know. If you're using Google Classroom, well, this is pretty helpful because that's exactly what exactly what we're going to be showing you how to assign this in. But in whatever LMS you're using, learning management system you're using, you should be able to do this. Okay, it's just easier in Google Classroom. So we're going to hit create. What am I? Okay, I'm in History Magic. Hit create. We're going to create an assignment. We are going to, remember, when you do a Google form that is worth a certain amount of points and you import it in here, now they've done it to where it's all connected and it'll go straight into your grade book. So we're going to go look at that as well. So title, we're going to call this, President Test. And then I say fill this out and submit. Okay. I want to go to add, and I'm going to go into my Google Drive. Now it's going to pull, like default is, it pulls your recent from your Google Drive because they know us teachers. They know that we just got done making the assignment we're about to do. Why isn't it? Oh, it's because I did it. I did it in the other one. Let me see if it's in my drive. Let me make sure it's in my drive. Sorry. Shared with me. Because it's still in my shared with me folder. Oh, no, we're good. Okay. So we are good. So let's find this little guy. Oh, Tyler, where you at? Classroom. Okay, we want to just search. What was it? Presidential history. Presidential history. Most of the time, it'll pop up right there in your recents. If you've been working along with me, then you notice that. So I'm going to click this. I'm going to hit insert. Remember, it's not going to give them access to edit it. It's going to show it. Now, this is where you do grade importing. Y'all see this? Grade importing. We want to automatically go straight into our grade book. That's what we want. That's what we want. Okay. And I'm going to title this topic. We're going to call it, tests. And then make a due date. We'll say it's due May the 14th. And then we're going to go in, make it with 100 points. And we're going to assign it. Now we're going to jump over into another student's side to see what it looks like when we get these right. Okay. So we're going to switch over to, let me see if Who is enrolled in this class? Hermione, Draco, Harry, and Ron. Ron Weasley. We'll go on as Harry. Man. Signing in. While we're signing in the chat, who's your favorite person from Harry Potter if you've ever seen it? If you haven't, why? Why would you do that? Hold on. See if we got a recovery tech email from this. Oh, man. I have to go check. No recovery emails. Confirm. Okay, well, that worked. All right, so here we go. We're in History of Magic. Here's my classwork. Got it. Okay, so we're going to go in here to tests, and I'm going to click this, and I'm going to take this test. Okay, so we want to see, I should have done it for, hold on, let me do something real quick. I don't know if it's going to change it now that I've done it, but I want to show them incorrect answer as well. Answer feedback, correct answers. I want them to watch this video. Presidents. Okay. All right, hit save. I'm going to say congrats. And we're going to say incorrect. Not going to do that. Okay, I don't know if it's going to work on that, but we'll see because I imported over. So I don't know if it like takes a snapshot of the form or it keeps the form live. We will find out. Okay. Oh, I hit done. Let's see if it's saved. Sorry, guys. Getting ahead of myself. That's okay. This is what a natural workflow looks like in case you've never worked out loud with others. Okay, good. So it's in there. Hit done. All right. I was just worried I didn't save it. That's why I went back. Okay, so let's go and take our presidential history test. It's automatically pulling my email account because I've got that setting on. And then I'm going to go to, if not, it's going to be hard to grade these tests because it's just going to give them this. I didn't even ask for their name. So I would honestly ask for their name. This is not like a normal test. This is a quick test to show you this. Who's the first president of the United States? Let's get this one wrong. Select the name. Select each name that was the president of the United States. So Jeffy, Maddie, Washi, and Lincoln. And this one will just say John Adams, if I get it exactly right. That'd be impressive. Okay. Hit submit. Okay. Submit assignment is marked as done. We're going to open the assignment. So what it does, it automatically marks that assignment is done now that I've submitted it, which is a great feature. Am I logged in as a teacher? I want to be a student. Okay. Well, make me a student. Student. I want to be Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Switched over my account. So bam. Going back. That's the problem. He's signing all these, which if you've come to my Google workshop that I'm doing, then you will see how to not have it switch access, which I'm not doing because I'm showing it from this one account. All right. And Harry's got classwork. Got it. Presidential test. I want to see my results, bro. Oh, well, okay. I guess it's signed in as me. Let's try it again. First president. I want to get it wrong. I want to do this and get it right. And then this one, lost my fun for that. Hit submit. Why is it? It keeps switching me over to that account. Ugh. I wanted to show y'all what it looked like. It keeps switching back to my other account as a default. Lame-o. I'm going to switch because I do want to show y'all what that looks like. So we are going to. Okay, I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. I guess I need to log out of this. If it's not going to work, we're going to go. I'll show you. There's the process. Hit this. You can't see it. I'm going to go to those three dots, and I'm going to go to what's called incognito window. And now I am going to sign in there as the correct person. So Harry Potter, TarverAcademy.com. One of my favorite students, by the way, TarverAcademy.com, the fake school. You'll sign up for the honor roll? No? Okay. Just wasting time. I'm gonna go in here. You can't see my screen. It's okay. If you're like, where's your screen? I'm not showing you yet because I'm trying to make sure it works before I go to the trouble of doing this. I'm taking the test one more time. Don't worry, blah, blah, blah. Hit submit. Okay, it's not, what in the world? Okay. Oh, I know what's wrong. Y'all, I'm dumb. I'm sorry. I got to return it. So I've got to go in to grade it as me, as the teacher. Why, y'all probably been shouting this in the chat and I just didn't see it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, y'all. So here's the problem. I want to go into the form as me, the instructor. Okay. I need to go in. I probably submitted this 3 or 4 times now. Surprised it let me do that. Yep, it did. Okay. Here are my insights. I can see all this as the instructor. Here we go. Those are all some really good insights, real good insights. Times that I've done this, I can go into each question and I can select it by question. And then I can go in and check everybody's. So I can say, you know, correct or not correct. So I'm going to mark that as correct. Edit pending. I can pick. This is like one of the cool things that Google is really amped up on is for you to go in and hit the X or the check. So I can give them a 0. I can do the check, give them a 10 automatically, or I can change and make it exactly what I want. Stay. So I'm going to save. Go into this next one. See, this is a really cool way to get through this. That goes by question, but you can also grade it by individual. So you can go through and read, which I don't know what type of crazy person would want to grade it based on this. So what we need to do is we want to send it back to them. So I'm going to go back to Classroom. And I'm going to go to the teacher account. And I'm going to send the assignment back. Okay. So we're going to roll into tests. Okay. Click on this. Click up here. And then now I want to return. Well, it's before my due date. So let's see if I can return him. So I'm going to click on Harry. It's not automatically grading him. So I'm going to hit return. I can add a comment if I want, don't want to. Now I want to go in as Harry and see what it is. Harry Potter. All right. So we're going to go in as Harry. Sorry, we're off to a very, I won't switch in and out of accounts as frequently from here on out. I promise. Plus, we're going to do a lot of resource stuff because I want to get you guys some stuff you can actually use and run with. Oh, no, I made that face. Sorry. Let's go look at our president test. Oh, hit view assignment. Got it. Okay. Okay. Where is it? Man, I've really messed some stuff up with the dates. I think that's added. It's graded. So I want to send it back as a teacher. Sorry if you know exactly what I did wrong. I want to return it. I thought I had it set on automatically see after. Oh, it might be because, yep, I think that I messed up because I created it accidentally in my personal Gmail account. So I need to switch that over. I need to change it here. I think that's where I messed up. Sorry about that, you guys. This is what happens, okay? I want to quizzes, immediately save. Okay. So let's do this one more time. That's something important. Like I talked at the beginning, you always need to check through your settings because you could do what I just did and then be signed into the wrong account. Okay, so let's try it again. We're going to go here. I'm going to switch over to Hermione. Fun fact, when I used to read the books, it was before the movies came out, and it was before the fourth book when they spell it out, but I used to call her Hermione. So in the first 3 books, when I would read and talk to my friends, I called her Hermione Granger, and it's not how you say it. And in the 4th book, it was before any of the movies came out, and you actually heard it, and you couldn't just like search YouTube because there wasn't anybody talking about it back then. And so what I would do, or in that movie, they, or in that book, she's pronouncing her name to, anybody know? It's in the chat. Anybody know who she's pronouncing her name to? And then we all were like, oh, that's how you say it. In a few seconds, I'll tell you the answer. If somebody gets it right, you win a yacht. Okay? And the answer is Victor Crumb. Good job, guys. Look at us. We're learning something today. Okay. It's it. I should be able to see it now. Okay. So right now I can go to view score so I can check it. This is the difference. So you saw the difference whenever you didn't release them immediately. Now we see it when we do. So I'm going to hit view score. And this is what I see as the student. Okay. So here we was supposed to give us a link. I don't know why I didn't give us a link because I thought we put that in there, but we'll check on that and see what it did wrong. So there's supposed to be this, read this cite and write 200 words on George Washington, 200 words. So I was supposed to have a link in there. Don't know why it didn't work. This right here is the video. So I can see this, watch the video. There you go. You can read whatever I wrote, feedback, plus they watch their video. A lot of times what I'll do on this part is I will give them, like, if they miss a problem, I'll go in and find the YouTube video or a video of somebody explaining that exact problem or that exact thing, or I'll go create a video, make it unlisted so that people can't just like find it on the internet, but I'm making an unlisted video where I'm directly addressing how to do that problem. And then I tell them they have to take notes on it and submit it to me. Okay. So everything looks good. We didn't see the link here for this one. So let's go in and see what is up. What is up with that? Okay. What's up with that? Remember that from Saturday Night Live? Okay. So I'm going to go in as the instructor. Let's see why this didn't have it. Answer key. We want to go to feedback. Okay. So the link didn't take. Oh, I didn't hit add. Ha! Sorry, guys. So let's just say it's GeorgeWashington.com. GW. Okay, I need to hit add. That would give me the link. Okay, so that's where I messed up. Sorry about that, guys. If you notice that before you get 10 points, hit save. Now, if I'd have done it correct, I would see that link. So you can send them to a link to something you've published, something they've published, something you found on the internet. They can watch it, they can read it, they can do whatever you want them to do based on getting the answer correct or incorrect. So there we go.
What up? Welcome back. Hey, Tyler here. How are you doing? How you feeling? In the chat, let's do emoji check. And how are you feeling right now? Have you learned? Oh, no. To this point, what is something that you are going to try in your classroom or implement that you might not have wanted to, an hour or two ago? What is something you're wanting to implement in your classroom? Put that in the chat right now. I'd love to see it. I know the other people in the chat would love to see it. I know it'd be some great input. So throw that in the chat and then you can also copy paste and put in your notes just so you don't forget. Make sure everything you're doing, you're keeping notes of. Keep links to it, all of it, because I want you guys to be able to access and actually make your classroom better. I've sat through enough PDs in my life, professional development in my life, that I don't remember one thing from. I pray that you walk through this. I am hoping that you get something out of this training that you can take and use, once a day, once a week, once a year, once a decade, something that you use and implement, whether it's a mindset or a skill set or just any type of framework to build your classroom and make things better. Okay? Speaking of making things better, making ourselves better, I do want to give you, some thoughts on something that I offer, a community that we have at Tarver Academy
that I think could add you a ton of value. It could help you get better all year. Because right now we're getting better with PD, with professional development. Hopefully you're getting better right now. This summer you're gonna hopefully glean some information, some knowledge, some experience, and you're gonna get a little bit better. I want us to get better all year. I want us to get better all throughout the year. And here's the thing with teachers. We do not have time to go sit through a 6-hour professional development once a week. So what I did was I created a community called Tarver Academy. And it was based on teachers telling me they wanted resources. They wanted a continuation of these trainings, of templates, of resources. They wanted to be handed to them, because if you go out and search for it, you're gonna find random stuff. They wanted stuff that could be applied to their classroom, that they can sit there, bite-sized professional development for busy teachers. That's Tarver Academy on a roll. And I would love for you to join if you want to. If you don't have to, don't pay for it. It's not very expensive at all, but I don't want you to have to pay for it. I would rather you use your district's professional development money. So if you want, have them go in, order that for you. Hey, here's the deal. Okay, let me be real with you. So you are signed up for the premium summer PD. Okay, either you signed up for it yourself, your principal, your administrator signed you up for it, or your district or your co-op. There were some amazing co-ops, districts that jumped in and realized that this could add value and flexibility, because they're offering 3 different sessions throughout the summer. You have flexibility to watch from home, or maybe you're watching with a group, maybe you're watching in your classroom, wherever you're watching from. They wanted you to add that value, and I wanted to give you a huge discount on the Tarver Academy Honor Roll. This is just for this summer, and it's just for the people that are on the premium watches, okay? And so the premium watches, the premium PD, okay? And so if you're watching this, you're here, you're on it, okay? So what you can do is you can sign up at tarveracademy.com/honor roll, and I want you to use this promo code. When you sign up, use this promo code. It's gonna cut in half. And it's one time for the full year, and it's gonna cut in half. Remember, use your district money if you can. So just write the promo code down, or put it in there and then get reimbursed, whatever you need to do. The promo code is premium, because you've signed up for the premium summer PD, and so I want to give you half off. So what that is essentially, you or your district or your co-op or your building paid for the summer PD, and so what it is, you get half off for these honor roll resources that come to you every week for the entire year. They essentially, it paid for more than, it paid for half of this just because they signed you up for it, or you signed up for it. So it's actually a better deal than if you just like straight up bought it. But you'll get access to these trainings anytime you want throughout the entire year, plus anything new. I'm gonna send you something every single week to help make you better in your classroom, because when you get better, your students get better. In the email every week, you're gonna get either a template, a resource, you're gonna get a short PD video, professional development, a training to show you how to do something you might not know how to do, or reinforce something you're maybe already trying. You're gonna get something that makes you better every week, plus some quick tips, links to some other things, and also you can ask me questions. I have a mailbag where you get to ask questions, and that's the list I'm gonna pick from first. I wanna help you guys. If I don't know how to do it, I'll do the research for you. I'll build, you're like, oh, I really wish I had a digital interactive notebook. Guess what I'll do? I'll go in and I'll build digital interactive notebooks, and I'll give you the template. You don't have to pay teachers. You don't have to go in and throw the money at anything. I wanna just hand it to you, and I wanna do trainings for you to help you. So if you wanna join that community, I think it's super helpful, and it's essentially where I become the tech facilitator for you. It's Netflix for teacher resources, and I would love for you to join and jump on that. So if you want, go there. It's tarveracademy.com/honor roll, and you can sign up for that. And I think it's just going to be a huge. It's going to be a huge help to teachers throughout the year who have a lot going on and not a lot of time, extra time to go out and do it. It's like as teachers, they always give you more stuff to do, but they don't give you like, oh, here's like an extra 3 hours a day to go out and do whatever it is you're gonna do. So if you wanna sign up for that, you can. I hope you've used this time also to use the restroom. So if you're just getting back using the restroom, guess what? We've just been talking about Tarver Academy Honor Roll. No big deal. But I wanna give you guys time to go do that and get a snack if you need it. Whatever you need to do, we're about to kick back into, we're about to jump back in it. We're gonna fall back into the gap, fall into the gap. Man, do y'all remember that? That was a good campaign. That was memorable. Wasn't it? Memorable? Yeah, sure. Okay, so we're about to get started. We'll get started here very soon, and we're gonna jump back in, we're gonna keep learning. All right, let's do it. Let's go. We're still doing this. In the chat, here we go. In the chat, I want you to tell me the name. Okay, ooh, don't say that. I was gonna say, tell me the name of, you know what? You can do that. Tell me the name of a teacher who made an impact on you and what they did. Why did they have an impact on you? In the chat, what name of a teacher or an educator that had an impact on you and what they did to have an impact. It was either the way they treated you, the way they ran their class, or the way they inspired you, or just the way they had structure maybe. They were reliable, they were consistent. I would love to hear in the chat, name of a teacher that motivated you as a student or as another teacher and what they did. So let's throw that in the chat and we're about to get started. We're gonna jump back into it. We're about to get started. We're gonna jump back into it like a pogo stick. See that? See what I did there? Nope? Okay, all right, let's get going.
All right, we've talked a lot about Google Forms. Now it's time to shift gears and we're gonna go in and talk about Canva. Now within Canva, you can do a lot of great things. I'm going to walk you through how to create a Google Classroom header. I want you to create one. I would just create at least one. Okay, we might create a couple together. They're Christmas themed. I'm going to warn you, they're Christmas themed Google header creation. But you can go in real time with me. Use the link on the screen. Go into Canva. It's free. You can apply to be a teacher, so you can get premium for free. So don't pay for it. Just do the free version. Unless you want to pay for it, you can. I mean, I do because I like it and it's attached not to my school email, but you can do whatever you want, follow your heart. So with that, you can go in and create headers you can use coming up in the fall and go ahead and put them in Google Classroom. Why not create your classes, put it in there and actually get something tangible you can apply to your class today. Hope you like it. Here we go. Creating Google Classroom headers using Canva.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Tarver Academy YouTube channel, or if you're watching on the Facebook, welcome to the Facebook. I'm running this thing live on StreamYard, which is an awesome website. If you don't have it, check it out, StreamYard.com. What we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be doing a full walkthrough on how to create Google Classroom headers. And so in the process, I thought it'd be cool to make some Christmas holiday themed classroom headers. I did this for Halloween. It was a lot of fun, just like chilling. And I made most of those on my iPad, but I thought it'd be cool to make them on the computer and then walk you guys through it. Thought it might be kind of chill. So if you want to pause this, go to Canva and set it up. I've actually got a link in the description to how to like sign up for Canva. So you click that, it'll take you to Canva. You can pay for it, but honestly, Canva's free. So don't pay for it. Just do the free one if you want. So it's got a free version on there. So you're more than welcome to check that out. And I'm hoping you guys like these headers. And I'm going to text them out. There's a number on the screen. I'm going to text them to that. If you're watching this later, if you look at this and it aired like a week or a month or a year ago, then hit me up, just email me, and I'll send them to you if you want them, or they'll be linked in my bio. So let's get to it. The link is in my description to go sign up for Canva. And we're going to walk through creating, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them, as many as we want. And I'm going to get some ideas from you guys as we make them. And so we're going to go to Canva. If you want the short link to it, it's bit.ly/Tarver, TARVER, Canva. That's the link to like sign up for Canva if you don't have it already. Again, it's linked in the description. If you want it there, you can have it there. That was weird. Okay, so we're in Canva. Canva has one of the best searches I've ever seen. So like Google's the best search, obviously. And within Google, there are, multiple ways you can search, like Google, regular Google, YouTube, Google Drive, all those. Google's the best. Second best search I've ever seen, honestly, is Canva. Canva is incredible for any type of headers you want to do. So I'm just going to search Google Classroom header. Okay. So I'm going to go there. And okay, so what I've got here is I'm going to scroll down. So these are all templates set up to the perfect dimensions of Google Classroom. So Google Classroom is kind of a weird shaped header, but this is kind of one of them. So what you can do is you can roll through some of these templates and you can pick whichever one you want and start with it. And then you can adjust it from there. So let's start. This one looks pretty. We'll take this. Okay. Make my screen a little bit. Do you know you can make your screen like bigger or smaller just by hitting on a Mac? It's Command plus or Command minus, and it makes your text and stuff smaller or bigger. If you're on a Chromebook or a Windows device, it's Control plus or minus. That's just a fun fact. Okay, so we're in here. Let's create this header. So let's do a Christmas quote. The beautiful thing about learning, this one's like the template they give you. So we're just going to pick something that might look cool for Christmas. which is, let's see. Oh, can I tell you, this is a little trick I do. I will go and I'll type in like Christmas puns and get ideas. It's not stealing if you're a teacher. It's plagiarism if you're a student. It's not stealing if you're a teacher. It's just sharing. You know what I mean? So roll around to get ideas. Resting Grinch face. That's pretty good. You slay me. That's all right. Your presence is requested. Oh, that's good. Let's do that. Okay. Your presence is requested in the Google Meet. That's pretty good. That's pretty clean. Who are we going to say said it? It was a BB King. Did BB King say it? BB King, did he say that? Let's say, Rudolph probably said that. RUDOLPH. Is that how you spell Rudolph? Okay, I'm going to make that larger so you can just highlight. I'm going to kind of walk you guys through Canva and how to use it while we're doing this. So you can highlight that text and then you come here. This is kind of like your, it's like in Google Docs or Microsoft Word or whatever. It's like your toolbar. So we're going to go here and we want to make it a little bit bigger. Boom, Rudolph. And let's just put a dash just to make sure people know. Okay, I can change the background color as well. These are fully customizable in Canva. So I just click on this and look up here in the upper left. I'm going to click off of it. As I click on it, it's going to show me those, like that color grid. And I can choose. I've got some colors I use for my stuff. So I can throw in like red. That's pretty Christmassy, right? So I can just click off the screen. You see how I just clicked off the screen and it went away. So I can take that and I can roll in. You can actually toss in photos too. So let's toss in some photos. Let's pretend like Rudolph actually said this. And so I'm going to show you how to pull in photos. Over here on the left, this is where you can upload stuff. But let's see. We're going to go to elements, okay? I could go into photos and pull in a photo. Y'all want to do that? Y'all down with photos? Yeah, I'll show you how to do it. So we click on photos. Canva has an amazing library of like open photos you can use. So let's do this. Let's just type in Rudolph. See what we can, Rudolph. See what we can get. Okay, here we go. We got some stuff, some good stuff. If I want to put any of this in there, all I have to do is click the picture, drag it over the top of the background. Do you see how it changes? I'm going to wait till I see it. There we go. And then I can let go. That's not a good picture because you can't even see what it is. So let's do this one. Let's see if this one looks better. Click, drag. Okay, here we go. That was not bad. Now, let's say I need to, like the sizing's off a little bit. Let's say I want to double click that. I can pull that down and adjust it. And then I'm just going to click done. There you go. So that's not bad. Look at that. That fits pretty well. Okay. Your presence is requested in the Google Meet. If I spell anything wrong, you guys got to let me know. You guys have to let me know if I spell something wrong. So let's roll over. Now, let's say we want to take this and we want to save this Google Classroom header. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to the upper right and I'm going to click download. You can do PNG file or JPEG file. Here's what I recommend. I recommend doing a PNG file because they're just as good as a JPEG, but they're a lot less on the size. So you're going to fill up your computer a lot less quickly. So I'm going to take that download and it's downloaded and that's it. Okay. So that's how you would do a photo if you wanted to for that. Okay. So now I want to show you how to do a video one. So let's go back. Let's go back to our templates. We're going to roll back and we're going to search Google Classroom, Classroom headers. They're going to search some Google Classroom headers. We're going to click on it. Boom. It's going to pull some more templates. I like to start fresh with the template because I could have just modified that one I was doing, but then I'm going in and it's like losing some of the stuff that I want. So I'm going to roll in here. Let's see. We want to do something clean. What you guys thinking? What do y'all think? Anybody got any suggestions? Let's go to, this one looks pretty Christmassy, right? So let's click that. And it's going to give us that template to start with. Loading up. Okay, so let's pick our text first, and then we'll go in and throw some elements. And again, I'm going to do one that is moving. I want it to be a video, and I'm going to show you how to do it, okay? So I'm going to click here. We're looking, I just searched like I Googled searched Christmas puns. Let's say, but wait, there's Myrrh. That's pretty good. Slay my name. Hold on for dear life. Okay. That was not a bad one. Hold on for dear life. The Christmas has Noel. That's pretty funny. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Okay. That's pretty clean. You'll be sorry. Okay. How about this? You'll. We're going to use that word. Okay. You'll love these assignments. You gotta be careful when you crop certain pictures if you're putting these in a Google Classroom. That's a warning. When you put headers in Google Classroom, make sure you crop them correctly. And so you'll love this classwork. How's that? Classwork. Boom. That's good. That's good. I'm gonna make that all lowercase. Okay. So now we want to take this and we want to make it to where it is a little more Christmassy. So I'm gonna hover over this pineapple. I'm gonna delete it. Delete the surfboard. I'm gonna delete that. Okay. We're gonna take that out of it. Actually, that's not bad. We can leave that. All right. So now I want to put in some Christmas trees. So I'm going to go over to Elements. I'm going to click on all the jingle ladies. Okay. So we just had a comment. That is clean. Okay. I'm writing that down. I'm writing it down. I'm sorry. All the jingle ladies. That's pretty good. I'm writing it down. That's coming up next. All the jingle ladies. And that'll be great because I can put in, I'm going to show you how to put in a picture of someone and take away the background. And we're going to get Beyonce in there. Okay. You'll love this classwork. So let's finish this. So let's do a Christmas tree. Christmas tree. Okay. Now, let's say I want to do a Christmas tree that was actually moving because these are all like, they're set. Oh, that's pretty cool. Look at that. That's classy. I'm going to put that in there. Actually, I'm not. It looks ugly when I put it in there. Okay. So I want to go and search Christmas tree, but over here to the right, you see those like 3 lines with the circles on them? If you click those, you can actually choose for it to be animated. So instead of it being a static photo, I can make it animated. You can even choose the colors if you want it. So I'm gonna hit apply. Look at these beautiful Christmas trees. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Okay, first I'm tossing in this because that's fancy. Look at these Christmas. Oh my goodness. Somebody said in, look at that. We're gonna toss that right there. Okay, so I put those little ornaments there. Now, let's say I wanna move those to the back because it's covering up my text. All you do is you right click on that and you want to go to send to back. Boom. Now they're hanging back there. Okay. Now let's put a Christmas tree in. Oh, look at this. This is going to be great. Okay. So let's find a Christmas tree that fits. Let's do this one. Okay. Excellent. Now we're working. Okay. Now our background is the contrast isn't great. So I'm going to change the color of my background. I'm going to click on that little chicken nugget. I'm just going to click somewhere on the background. And then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to change that to, are we going red again? It just kind of works, right? It's Christmas. So let's try it. Nope. Yellow's too much. Mayday. Let's just go there. That's clean. Okay. Click right here. Now I want to add in another Christmas tree. So let's add in, oh, this one's nice. We're going to add that Christmas tree in. This little guy, I feel like Bob Ross. All right. Don't worry about this little guy. We're going to put this little guy right here. Okay. And I'm going to put some presents in the Christmas tree. They're going to go right here. Thank you. Somebody said red is good. All right. Put this in here. Somebody in the chat, because I'm running this live on TikTok too, because TikTok is the bossest of all the platforms. Somebody had a really good question. Do you have a problem with it, with the text on Google Classroom covering it up? Yeah, that's going to happen. I think that they're going to get to a point where you can clean it up, maybe because it shades it too. So I think they're going to allow you to take away that. They just haven't yet. And I do have the problem of it overlapping it. So that's why I always like to toss in a lot of elements. That way, I don't know, you get variety. Okay, let's toss in one of these weird, creepy creatures because why not? It's ours. We can do whatever we want. So I'm going to click this. I'm going to shrink this little guy down and I'm going to have this little guy dancing on top of this. That's just good, clean fun. Okay. And then I think we're good. I think that's pretty good. Y'all feel good? I feel good. Okay. So let's move this over a little bit just because I don't know why. It just feels like I should. And there we go. So we have a moving header. So this is what you do whenever you want to export this as a video because we want it to move. And then I'm going to show you how to import this into boom. Okay. Sorry, I'm reading the comments. So let's put this, we're going to export it right now. It's on a 6-second loop. I can see that right here. So I can click this. Oh, it's going to show me a preview of what it looks like. See, that's the preview of it. Okay, so I'm going to close. Now I want to download this. So I'm going to go to download, and it's going to be, the default is an MP4 video. I've never honestly tried to, I've never tried to import an MP4 video. I bet it would work. I'm going to do a GIF though. I think GIFs, they're going to take up a lot less storage than a MP4. So I'm going to download a GIF. I always like to save storage because you never want your computer full. So I'm going to mark it as a GIF, hit download. Okay. So somebody said, Misplaced 22 said, I've never used Canva. Is it free? Yes. So they have, okay, there's 3 versions of Canva. You ready? So Canva has a free version that you can do. You can still create a ton of stuff. They've got a lot of good templates. You will not be disappointed with free. Okay. Now, if you want, I actually pay for the pro version because it gives me more templates and more elements. So I like actually one of those trees that I tossed in, I wouldn't have gotten to use if I was using the free version. I think it's like $90 a year. I don't know. It's not bad. But if you are an educator, they have it free for educators on the education account. If you're interested, I have links directly to Canva, like the regular version, and links directly to the education version in my bio. So solo.to/Tyler. If you click on it, it's the blue, there's a blue photo, and that's my Canva links. You click on that, and it'll sign you up for Canva, the free one or the teacher one. I think it actually might take a little bit of time, for them to approve your teacher one, but they will. It used to be you could use your teacher email, and now I heard from somebody recently that now they make you show your like teaching license. I guess too many people were swiping the pro version for teachers. So highly recommend it. Yes, you need to get the education. Pro is a must. I use Pro. I love it. I completely agree. I did free. I actually used Adobe Spark for a long time for my graphics, and I just switched it up about a few months ago, and I do not regret it at all. Okay, so we've made a text one and we've made a video header, and I want to show you how to put them in to your Google Classroom. So let's go to classroom.google.com, and we're going to toss these little chicken nuggets into the Google Classroom headers. Okay, so let's choose one of these classes that I don't use anymore. Okay, here we go. Here's one my daughter made called First Grade. Doesn't make any sense. Oh, look, there's one, Deck the Halls with Completed Assignments. I'm going to turn that for the TikTok people so it doesn't say a cuss word because it was cropping one of the words. Okay, so we want to go to Upload. We just click on the class, go to Upload Photo. And now we're just going to go and get our photo that we did earlier. So we can drag and drop, or we can go and select a photo from my computer. I'm just going to drag and drop from there. It's going to upload. Remember, we search for Google Classroom headers, and it's going to download it. It's going to download with the perfect dimensions. Now, when I made those Halloween headers, I heard that there was a teacher that made the mistake, and it cropped off something where it says, don't ghost your assignments, and it cropped it and made it inappropriate. Whenever you're in here, make sure you stretch this out to fit the entire thing. Oh my goodness. There you go. Fill that entire thing. Hit select the class theme. Boom. It is now going to be your Google Classroom header. Okay. Now I want to show you real quick. Let's walk through the video. And so we did that for the photo. Let's do it for video. I'm going to click upload photo. I'm going to go grab that GIF or GIF if you want to say it the way I don't like it. Click. I'm going to drag it in there to upload it. It's going to upload that GIF. I'm going to stretch it out to cover the whole thing. Hit select class theme. And we got it, fam. Look at us. We in it. We are in it. Okay, so there you go. You can do movable. You can do video ones. Yeah, so we're good to go. That's it. That's how you do photo and video for this. So look at us. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Not me. Not me. Best comment of the year. Okay.
Okay, now we're on to the next session. Now, my friend Stephanie House, who is a wonderful educator. I'm dead serious. She's a wonderful educator, amazing human being, super helpful. And she did a session for GEG Global, which is a Google educator, like this group, Google Educator Group, that's what the GEG stands for. And they were meeting, and she was walking through this resource she created that is pretty incredible. It is a grid method for tracking student progress, attendance, and when they need help. It's fantastic. And so she's going to walk you through that, why she changed her instruction, what it led to, and then how she used it. Now, if she says something like, put this in here or go in here and do this, she did this live for GEG, but she was so kind to let us use it and learn with her today. And so what I've tried to edit it down, but just so you know, when she's creating, you're watching, but you can also go in and grab that resource. She's made herself available for you to go in and get it from this document. So pay attention to the links on the screen and what she's doing and see how you can apply this in your class. Stephanie, take it away.
Hi, everyone. So thank you for joining this session. This session, we're going to be talking about personalized learning. And I know a lot of people are fearing the upcoming school year. Same here. There's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of, can we do this? But this is a time to kind of take education and redesign it. And so one of my favorite ways to organize a lesson is called the grid method. And I'm going to walk you through why I use it, what it is, and then you're going to get a chance to kind of be the student to see what the grid method is. And so the grid method, it personalizes learning. So that's why I love this title, because it's all about personalizing learning. Students are able to go at their own pace. They can sit wherever they want in a classroom. And then there's teacher check-ins. So you can do a teacher check-in whenever you want throughout the grid method, and then you can schedule teacher check-ins. You can also use a Google spreadsheet, which you'll see later, to track it. So again, if you are unable to click, the bit.ly is SYD and then yes. So capital SYD and then lowercase YES. And that will get you to the slide presentation. The slide presentation has a ton of hyperlinks, and feel free to reuse any of these resources. So the reason I fell in love with the grid method is because it really did change my instruction. When I was a student, I was awful at school. I hated school. It was a lot of direct instruction. A lot of times people had to move at the same pace. I'm very type A, so I would have to sit there and wait for a student who was last minute to finish their work before moving on. It was boring. I didn't get a whole lot out of it. I just hated it. My parents had to force me to go to school. With the grid method, students work at their own pace. They're able to go along lessons and take more time on certain content that they need more help with. They're able to go faster on things that they understand, like vocabulary. You might have really good students that know the vocab for this unit, and they're able to fly by because they completely understand that material, and rather than waiting for another student to finish up. Another reason is because every student learns differently. It matches up with DOK, and my Google Innovator project was focused on students with disabilities. So my problem in education was, there was a student, her name was Bella. It was my third year teaching, and Bella struggled in school. She had dyslexia. And what happened with Bella is a lot of teachers focused at the DOK level 1 area, which is basic recall. That was not beneficial for Bella. She has dyslexia. She struggles with short-term memory. She struggles with retaining information that way. Her strength, though, was in drawing. If I was a really good teacher like I am today, I don't even know if I am, I'm still learning. But if I was amazing, like I'm trying to be, Bella would have been able to do sketchnoting in my class. But no, I forced her to use recall, and she was having to recall back and forth information on vocabulary words, when I could have had her been using her strengths and drawing out the different vocab words, and it would have made a better connection with Bella. I could have moved her to the DOK level 4 area. And yes, students with disabilities can do this. I've done it, and I've seen them be successful in this area, which is justifying. She could have had an argument and justified. A lot of our dyslexic students are really good at justifying why they're right or wrong. So it allows all the DOK levels, because you need all of them in order to help you with teaching. It doesn't just skip a level, but it layers it, so it becomes kind of like a gamification also in a way. And then again, I was bored in class. You're waiting for students to finish up. But no, with the grid method, it just keeps going. You're able to do Genius Hour projects at the end, and you're allowed to let students explore on their own if they want to. And again, the link for all the slides, they should be at the bottom, but just make sure that you are able to get in. I don't think we'll hit the limit, but you never know. I do like to break things with Google, so you might want to make a copy. And then a lot of you heard this when I was talking with Abid during his It Just Works event. And we were talking about tradigital learning. So my boss, Brian Seymour, he came up with this word. It's called tradigital learning. And what tradigital learning is it's taking the best teaching practices from a traditional classroom. So yeah, this direct instruction is good some of the time, not all of the time, and using those in a digital classroom. So now my students have a device. So how can I take what's really good in a traditional classroom and just add it into the grid method that's going to be good for a blended type of classroom? I know some people are going to be hybrid. So right now that's our plan. And it's changing every day. We were going full back, and then it just changed a couple weeks ago that we're going now hybrid. So if you're full instruction and you're going to be in class with students every day, that's awesome. And the grid method will work for that model. If you're going hybrid and you'll only see your students 2 times a week, it will work for that model. They can do some of this online. If you're going full virtual, the grid method still works. That's why I am so in love with this model to help communicate and organize lesson design. And so we are really big on tradigital learning, which is just kind of our word for blended learning. And blended learning has a ton of different definitions. So with our blended learning, we have these different focuses. So we have planning, and every single teacher is at a different phase on the blended learning rubric. And it's not a grade. We want teachers to move exactly where they are. So some teachers are at this pre-phase 0, okay? They're just starting to dip their feet into blended learning. Right now, a lot of my teachers are at the phase 2 or 3, and it's been 4 years of working with them. So you can see how long it does kind of take for some teachers to get there. But the phase 1, so that was kind of like my first year with them, it's just 2 stations. You have a whole group, which has like 12 students, and then another group with 12 students, and you just flip-flop them. So you'll do direct instruction with 12 students, you'll do another with 12 students. And then from there, you go to like 4 different stations, and then you go to differentiated activities, and then you go to individual based playlists. So the grid method kind of falls under phase 2, but you can definitely make it a phase 3 activity. And then we try to look at data. So the grid method collects a lot of data throughout the activities. And then there's, again, path is very amazing with the path. So students move again at their own pace. They can go quickly on some activities. They can slow down. You can tell them to redo an activity, or you can provide other activities for them to get busy and working on different things. So let's go ahead and let's look at what this grid method really is. So again, I had a problem with ownership. My students were not taking ownership of their learning. But with the grid method, they started to become more accountable. They were excited because they wanted to get to the level 5, which was that Genius project, and create a video about what they were learning. Failure to reach all learners. I was struggling. I was not reaching every single learner. I was reaching the middle, which is typical for a lot of teachers. With the grid method, you're able to reach all those different levels just naturally because it sets you up for success. And then I was having management issues, a lot of classroom management issues, as you can tell, like with a first year kind of teacher. You've got kids, doing whatever they are doing, and it was hard to maintain. But because every student was on their own path and pace, I was able to maintain classroom management. They were able to get help from me when they needed it. Rather than sit there and joke around, I was able to assist them, and then they were able to move on because they felt successful and they knew what they were doing. It provided them clarity, so they knew exactly what to do at that moment. And my lowest student performance went up. They were so excited to learn that they had so much ownership and they were proud in their work that their performance did increase. So here are two models of the grid method. This is the first one that I used in my classroom. So on the grid method, down here we have level 1. So this is the basic recall. It goes with DOK. So DOK level 1 is the red. DOK level 2 is the yellow, and it's like apply and demonstrate type of skills. And then the third one is compare and contrast. And then the fourth one, they're like designing. And then the fifth is kind of like that evaluate / genius project kind of mindset. So down here in level 1 is where we put the target. So every single level has a different target for students to know what are they trying to do. So this is what you're going to do in a second. It says, I can hold a pencil properly and I have identified what it means to color inside the line of a picture. It's your I can statements. Then you put the different activities in the boxes. So for a level 1 recall activity, for this type of learning, the reason I did how to hold a pencil is because I want it to be able for everybody to understand. However, I have tons of examples that are geared towards subjects. So if you want to see a subject example for like math or ELA, just let me know and I can send those out. They're also in the slide deck, so you'll see those later. But right now it's just about holding a pencil because it's everybody can hold a pencil, right? That's something that we need to know how to do. So there's different activities on how to hold a pencil. First, they're going to watch a YouTube video. Again, basic recall, not hard to do, pretty easy to do to watch a video. And then they're going to do a quick check on how to hold a pencil. Once they do that, they're going to then watch a video and add puzzle. And then they're going to do a quick Google form. So you can see here, they just keep moving on the grid. Here, they have to have a teacher check because it's orange. Okay, so this is just the Google Doc example. This one I really like. I just found this recently, and I think I'm going to start switching it because kids kind of struggled elementary. This would probably be really good for high school students or junior high, but middle school and elementary kiddos might do better with a Google slide. So here's all the different levels. The kids just click, and then all their instruction for level 1 is on this slide deck. So there's 2 different examples for you to look at. So what my teachers normally do is they will add the student's name. So they usually have a roster with all of their students and they just copy and paste their class list onto this grid. And they usually will, at the bottom, you know how there's different tabs down here? I know it's kind of hard to see. So mine says original at the bottom. What my teachers normally do is they will duplicate where it says original. Let me try to, and then they'll do their different classes. So they'll have all their classes in one big spreadsheet, but then they can just toggle between class 1 and class 2. Other teachers add all 70-some students into one spreadsheet. Other teachers will duplicate and have many tabs at the bottom of the sheet. Totally up to you, okay? Also up here, where it says C through G, you'll notice that that matches this Google slide. And these match the different levels. Where there's a black line means that that's a break, and then they're going to go to the next level. I typically, this is up to you, add a teacher check-in right before the black line. So I know I need to check with these students before they move on to the next level. Okay? Over here where it says status is how the kids communicate with me. I can say, I need help. It's going to turn red. I know right away that Stephanie needs help. And I can go over there and assist her right away. I can come down here where Susan is, and she might just need a check. She might be on an activity that needs a teacher check, and she's able to change that, and it changes to orange. So I know, okay, Stephanie needs help. I'm going to go see her first. And then I'm going to go over to Susan, and I'm going to go check her work and allow her to move on. Okay? And then the kids move it back to I'm good when they are good, and it's all green. Okay, so you're going to go to 1A, and we're going to click working. This should all be blue. We're all going to start at 1A today. Now, if I had a pre-assessment, I could say to some of my students, I want you to start out at level 2 because you got this material. I want you to skip level 1. I know you understand it based on that pre-assessment, and you can move on to level 2, or maybe you can move on to 1C. You don't need to do 1A or 1B. And so then kids are able to move ahead if they need to. This is great for remote learning. I can be teaching in the class, have my computer up with this spreadsheet because this tab is always, always open with my teachers. And they're able to say, all right, this kid, Aaron, is at home and they need some help. I could say, okay, I've got a free moment here. Let's jump on a Google Meet. Or, hey, here's a video to help you. Go ahead and watch that. Because if kids are stuck, they're going to struggle with that concept. And then I can also say, Kathy, you haven't moved yours to working. So I'm waiting for Kathy to move hers to working. I can go over to Kathy and have a conversation with Kathy, and I don't need to interrupt the whole class. I can see exactly on here who has not changed their colors. I can see over here that Paula needs checked again. And Denise needs help. Yeah, it looks like Denise really does need some help because she is ahead of us. So she's not even paying attention to me right now. So it's so quickly able to see which kids are doing what. Okay, so we're going to go back to the grid, which is this Google slide. I'm going to put it again in the chat just in case anybody needs it. And if you're just joining, just know that the slide deck is in the description. And if you need these slides, they're on slide number, I believe it's 8. Yes, slide 8. And you're going to click right here, getting to know the grid. Over here, my teachers are providing this year class syllabus. So they're going to be able to hyperlink their class syllabus right to the grid. Everything's going to be on one spot. That tracking grid is right here. So they will always use this. Then the Google Classroom, I can link my Google Classroom right here so the kids always have that information. And then I can list my standard operating procedures so the students know how to behave in my online learning classroom. So those are just some important things that I have for my class. You can, again, make it whatever you need to do for your students. Up here are the different levels. And we're going to start at level 1. So again, everybody should have working on level 1. And you're going to jump over to the slide deck now. Our learning target for today is I can hold a pencil properly and have identified what it means to color inside the lines of a picture. So that is our learning target for level 1. Okay, 1A, we have learning how to hold a pencil. You're going to change 1A to blue. You guys did that. Okay. Then you're going to watch this video, and then you're going to do the quick check. Once you do the quick check and you're good, you're going to change this to green. So once I'm done, I'm going to go here and click finish, which is green. My 1B becomes working because I'm going to start 1B next. Then you're going to go over to 1B and you're going to do that task. But what I would normally do is I would see here that Paula, she has a check me. So I would probably pull up a Google Meet with her to have that conversation about what she needs help with. With the live stream, it's kind of hard to do that because it would just be a conversation with myself. But I would just check in with the kids that need help. And then we can say, okay, you're good, keep going. And then the kids just keep working. But over here, you can see here that it's totally okay that Stephanie B is only at 1A. And over here, we have Steph Carter, who's at 2A. That's totally fine. They're able to work at their own pace and own speed with this activity. And that's what our students need. Laura has a really good question in the chat, so I just want to bring that up. She was asking, how would you do this? How do you set this up? I tell my teachers to focus on 3 to 4 standards or 1 standard. It really depends on what you're teaching. And so if you're teaching fractions, you could do it multiple ways. So one of my teachers for fractions, because in 5th grade you have to teach, I guess in Ohio too, I know there's all different places watching. So in Ohio for fractions in 5th grade, you have to learn how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. So I would probably create one grid on just adding and subtracting fractions. And then I would do a whole nother grid on multiplying and dividing. And then I would do another one that the kids could work on throughout the year. It might not be right away because you kind of want to leave some time for them to master the skill. And I might in the spring, if I'm teaching this like in the fall or winter, teach them multiplying and dividing and then adding and subtracting. And then in the spring, I might bring back that grid that focuses on 4 different operations. So the kids are reviewing multiplying, dividing, adding, and subtracting all in one grid. And so then they're able to practice that learning. And a grid normally takes a week or 2. And it's okay if every single student does not get to all of the levels. I usually try to have the kids, I really want them to get through level 1, 2, and try to get through level 3. But if they don't get to level 4, these are more of the extension activities. It's totally okay. And same with 5. A lot of times those students will not get to level 5. I can then see, okay, you probably should have got to 1B throughout that time. So I might pull these students and talk to them about why they didn't get there. And then I might work with them. Maybe they need more instructional help. Maybe they need to come sit by me to make sure that they're on task throughout that time. Maybe they had a question and I didn't get to them. So that is kind of what that looks like in a quick time limit. Feel free to ask any of your questions in the chat. I'm going to keep going. There was a question earlier before I get yelled at. There was a question about what do you do when that student, we all have that kid, that goes down to Laura's name, and decides to mess with her grid because they think it's funny. Anyone have that kid? I know I did. There's always usually one in a classroom, right? So what you're going to do is see how I highlighted the 4 row. You have to do this for all of your students. So I click the 4th row. You're going to do 2 fingers, 1 click, the right click, and you're going to go to protect range. Okay, it's down here. When you go to protect range, I'm going to type in the student's name just in case I need to edit it later. This is telling me that the entire row 4 is highlighted. So I'm going to click set permissions. And then I'm going to go ahead and unclick all of these people. And I just want me and that student to have access to that row. Okay, so now only me and that student can edit that row. If another kid tries, they're going to get an error message because they're not allowed to. However, you have to do this for every single row. So again, now I'm at row 5. 2 fingers, I'm going to right click, protect range. I'm going to type in Stephanie R. Set permissions. I'm going to unclick everybody, but for me, the owner will always be able to be clicked. And I'm going to add Stephanie's email. Okay. I could also click a co-teacher if I had a co-teacher. Okay. Usually I tell my teachers to trust your students and then do this if you need to, because it takes a lot of work to do it. But that way, all of your students are there. Once a grid is done, what I typically suggest is go to File, make a copy. There it is. And then rename what the unit was. This will have all of your data from that unit. So if you need to talk to parents, or communicate with a principal, or maybe RTI services to show how students are performing in your class, you have that evidence. The students no longer have access to it. Then I go back to the original, and I would highlight all of these different areas, hit delete, and we're back to normal on Monday or whenever you're going to start the next unit. So I always use this one as my original. And then I make a copy, because if you make a copy, it will not keep all those permissions that you just set. So this has all the evidence for how that unit went. And if I need to, I'll usually add a kid on here if they were absent or need to make up some work. They're able to keep working on this if they need to. But I always use this as my original, okay? I also have teachers that have their entire class on here, so they might just duplicate at the bottom. And they might just say, this was our color unit. So that way kids can keep working on it, but then they have evidence of who is done and who's not done, okay? And you can also, like I have them also protect the sheet, so only they can access this information, and then kids have to check in with them and the teacher has to change their color. So just decide how you want to set up that protocol for your own classroom, okay? So again, I like the Google Slide for elementary and probably middle school, so K to 6 students. The document, I still would probably choose the Google Slides because I love Google Slides. However, high school could definitely probably use the document. I have used this document with 5th and 6th graders before I found this slide template, so feel free to use whatever way you like. All right, so in the chat, how many of your students does a traditional lesson or activity in your classroom generally reach? A, I'm not sure. B, some of them. C, most of them. Or D, all of them. So go ahead and answer in the chat. And to get access of the Google Sheet, I will show you, it's all in the slide deck. And the slide deck, again, is in the description. So everything that you could possibly need will be in this slide deck if you want to make a copy of it or keep. There should be no issues accessing it. I think volume-wise, we're okay for today. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of C's. Yeah, most lessons, most kids are able to be reached at. However, with the grid method, how would you answer this now seeing the grid method? So using the grid method, how many of your students do you think it would reach? And what I really love about the grid method is level 1, there's usually always like a Google form type of check or maybe an Ed Puzzle check. If a student gets below your expectation, they can redo those activities. You know those students that say, yeah, I watched the video, but they really didn't. So if they would have watched the video, they probably would have scored higher on that level. So you're able to say, go rewatch that activity. So again, it's learner pace. The kids can move at their own pace. You completely saw that in action. Every single student was moving at their own pace throughout the lesson. There's accountability for students. They have to get an 85% or higher or whatever's required to pass your lessons. If they don't, they have to redo that. Or you provide additional resources for them that might help them. So we use iReady in our district. I might provide some extra resources that allow students to review using iReady or working with me in a small group. Remember how on our tracking sheet, I could go to D and I could go, all right, whoever is working or not even there, they're working with me. There's my small group. I can pull those students up quickly. I can quickly see based on those colors who I need to work with. So I could probably pull a small group here, and then I could say, oh my gosh, these kids are moving so quickly. They understand the material. Let me pull them together and provide enrichment for them because they have mastered this skill, and I can move them a little bit forward and push their thinking. So you're able to review anything at any time and pick your small groups based on the different levels or however you kind of want to pick them. And then every single level is connected to a standard. So someone asked, how many standards would you put together? Again, 3 to 4 is probably like that magic number for a unit. And you can look at your standards, and it all depends on what the standard says, obviously, but looking over your standards and deciding, okay, I have this unit coming up. How can I teach that? And I've got this coming up soon. How can I provide instruction that's going to help them be successful there? I think, Paula, you have to figure out why they don't care. There's always some type of reason as to why students just don't care. I found for me, a lot of the kids that didn't care didn't understand the material I was teaching. And so I think pulling those kids into more of those small groups and working with them more one-on-one and providing feedback really do help. And yeah, we're K to 5, we're standards-based grading. And then 6 to high school, we are letters-based, but we also believe in mastery grading. So a lot of reteaching and a lot of retesting if a kid needs it. So again, the grid method allows for scaffold learning. It provides them multiple different chances to understand material. It goes along with depth of knowledge. And then they have access to content that allow them to go at their own pace and different learning opportunities to reach that. And then there's formative assessment at every single level. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the grid. So 1D, there was a formative check. It was a Google form. I'm able to real quick look at who did what on this check, and then I can talk to those students based on how they did. And then on level 2, there's another formative check. It's 2B. And I like to leave sometimes spaces open on my grid. So this one, the kids had to meet with a partner and give a feedback chat. So they just had to meet with a partner, give them some feedback on their coloring. And then I just look over and talk with them about how they did. I like to add partner or group work in here. And then if I saw that a student made a mistake, I might say, okay, go ahead and take your break. I want you to now do this second activity. I'm able to type that into their grid. I usually assign this on Google Classroom, as every kid can make a copy. So every student gets their own copy of it. So then I can really personalize it for their own learning. I could also go in and say, okay, this kid does not need a relaxation break. I'm going to take that off. Whatever I need to do, I can do that. So here is, this one goes with the Google Doc just because it was easier to show. So level 1 is, again, that basic recall. So all the information in level 1 is just basic information that the kids can quickly recall back and forth. Level 2 focuses on that skill or concept. So right here, I can see that the kids are actually kind of focusing on what they learned from level 1 and then doing it. So for this example, they're going to this website and then they're going to start coloring one of these pages. I try to add choice so the kids could pick between which activity they wanted to color. So that's one way to kind of help too, is by providing that choice for students. And then I can go ahead and see them share their artwork. I put social media just for this example, but I might say, okay, go ahead and share it with a friend, or go ahead and put it up on the board wherever you want to do. So you can see that they're starting to apply what they learned from level 1. Level 1 has a lot of vocab, videos, a lot of introduction to the topic, where level 2 is them like actually beginning to practice it. And then I also try to add like peer review in level 2 so the kids can hear from each other and have those conversations with one another. Level 3 is going on to strategic thinking. So it's looking at kind of comparing. I love the fix the error type of activities, especially with math. It's probably one of my favorite things for kids, and they probably hate it. But like with math, they'll solve a problem and there's an error. The kids have to be the teacher and find that error. So I like to do those kind of things. So here's one where they have to compare and contrast. And then they have to explain. And then there's another practice. And they have to get feedback throughout the practice. So those are just some examples of how you could do a level 3 activity. And then there's also usually a summative assessment, because I want to make sure the students really have it. And if they bomb this summative assessment, they need to go back and maybe have a different review or meet with me one-on-one. And so in 3C, I'm able to provide maybe enrichment if they did awesome, or I can provide, let's relook at this and let's meet one-on-one, let's talk about what we can do, and then I might provide another activity for them to show that they've got it or don't got it. And then level 4 right here is going on to extended thinking. I like to use flip grids for level 4 because it allows the kids to kind of justify in what they're thinking. And so now that they've learned, they're gonna do something with that learning. I, again, like to have kids respond by Flipgrid when they get to this activity. I've also done like a lot of would you rather activities, or which one doesn't belong. So there might be like 4 images and the kids have to decide like which one doesn't belong, or 4 different math problems, which one doesn't belong and why. They're usually having to justify why it does not belong in level 4. And then level 5, they can create however they want. Again, that choice is really important. So they're able to use video tutorials, a website, or they can even choose whatever they want for this activity. And they're going to be creative. They might create a video on how to solve fractions. They might create a poster, an infographic. They might use Canva to design. So the kids can use whatever they want to create. And then I like them to show it off to the community members, families, or other students in the class. And then slide number 7 was just an example of what this could look like. So you could move these around if you wanted to create like a pacing model. However, I think the power of the grid method is that the kids get to move at their own pace. So I might just say this is a suggestion. And again, everything is hyperlinked, which makes it really quick and easy for kids to know where to go. Same with my office hours. I like kids to know when I'm available to meet. Okay. Maybe after I get this spinning wheel, there we go. And then level 5 is again that exploration. So they're using what they've learned from levels 1, 2, 3, and 4 and really exploring what they've learned. Okay, so every single lesson down here is a line and they're tiered. And then it kind of goes easy to hardest as they move up. And so some ideas for summative assessments, you could use project-based learning. They could be problem-based, traditional assessments, performance-based. You can be creative with your different assessments. And so I like when learners, they have goals and they write these out. Also, I think it's important for it to be very well communicated with students. And then I like to provide peer-to-peer instruction so kids can work together. And then remember, every single student is allowed to work where they are. Same with our teachers. We've got to work with them exactly where they are. And so some formative assessment opportunities. I like to use Google Forms for this. It could be like a Google slide. It could be a Flipgrid. It could be anything that you kind of want it to look like. Here are just some examples. So some teachers I've seen use their entire whiteboard and they've made it a grid. Here's where they've got the standard, learning, and targets. This is like genius badges. So if a kid feels really confident in one of the levels, they could pick up a genius badge and then they could be like the go-to if you're too busy working with another student. Over here's another grid with a whiteboard. You could also use cups if you don't like the Google form or Google Sheet. And then here is where the kids go to get their worksheets. So I've seen teachers take the filing folders and then putting the worksheets in there if you have any papers for the kids to pick up. And this, I mean, I've seen them just have it laid out and then whatever one they don't use, they just take it out for the day. but it just makes it really easy for kids to go to that assignment. I also like to hyperlink everything. That way kids know what it looks like so they know what they're looking for. But again, that's all you setting it up at the beginning of the school year. And so again, it looks like this. Students are all over the place. Some students here are working on an experiment where these kids are watching a brain pop video, which is probably DOK level 1, and they're working on a worksheet. Over here, these kids are working on a peer assessment, and then these kids are working together too. So it looks different. Every station, every activity is different. Here's the examples if you want to see some for math. These are examples that I've done. ELA, and then science. And then there's other ideas here. I've seen it be used for parent-teacher conferences, refusal to work. And then there's a website here that has a ton of ideas and templates that you could use. Like level 1, I like Quizlets, Frere models. So there's just a bunch of different ideas that I've just brainstormed that you could use with your students. And then here are the blank examples if you want to make a copy. So it's just example 1, 2, 3, and then here's the blank tracking sheets. Let me see if I can pull these up. So here is a blank tracking sheet that looks like the one that we have. There's one, this one looks a little different. So you can, again, figure out what you need for your own classroom and your students. This one, the kids go in and change the colors, where this one's the drop down like you did. So you got to decide what do you like and what works best for your students. I don't like this model. Again, I'm very type A, OCD. Everything has to be the same color. When I use this model, you had all the shades of green that you could imagine. It doesn't work for me. So that's why I don't like this model. However, if you love all the different shades of green, go ahead, but I warned you that the kids will pick every color of green that they possibly can. And then there's another tracking sheet here. So this one matches the one that we did today with the colors at the top. And then real quick, over on this side, we had an Alice drill. So if you don't know what an Alice drill is, it's a drill where students are, where we have to practice an active shooter drill, okay? And I was in a classroom and I told like 3 kids they could use the bathroom because the teacher was like, yeah, that's fine. And then we had this Alice drill and I knew none of the kids' names because I'm in like 20 different classrooms every single day. And I was like, I don't remember who I told to use the bathroom. And she was like, it's okay, we'll figure it out. And the kids, you know, came back, and everything was okay. But then I was like, if this was a real drill, what am I gonna do? And so this is kind of a safety aspect. And so if the kids use the restroom, we made it so it times them and it tells us what time they went. So I can say, okay, that kid has been in the bathroom for 15 minutes. I should probably go check on them. It allows you to do that. Also, if there's an Alice drill or fire drill or whatever drill we have, you know where those kids are at. So that just became a kind of a go-to for our classroom. And then I can go to hallway and I know the kids who are working in the hallway because I would often forget, oh, I already told like 6 kids that they could go to the hallway. 1 more kid does not need to be out there. So this allows you to know where the students are and when they left. Not sure if you'll need it for remote type of setting, but this works very well for in-person. So I loved having this model. And then My Google Innovator, this is just another helpful website that will help you with different ideas. So for My Google Innovator project, like I was talking about earlier with Bella and how she struggled with reaching those higher levels of DOK, every single month I focused on a different activity. So if you want to work on vocabulary, because that's really popular and a lot of students struggle with different things because they haven't mastered vocabulary, you can click September. And here it shows you the different DOK levels. So DOK level 1 would be like a Quizlet activity. DOK level 2 might be using Pear Deck Flashcard Factory. This one might be the Frere model. And then this one might be which one does not belong. So it takes every single activity and shows how vocabulary can be used at a DOK level 1 all the way to DOK level 4. It's also based on Hattie's research and kind of like why I picked the strategies that I did to focus on, because relationships are huge. If you don't have relationships with your students, they will not learn as much as they could. So a lot of my teachers were just using a Google form, and they were calling that building relationships. Where really having a morning meeting with your kids will bring that DOK level 4 up, and you'll be able to really get to know those kids a lot better than just a Google form. And so there's tons of different activities in here. If you want to steal any of those, completely feel free to steal. And then all of this, I learned about the grid method from the Teach Better Academy. So feel free, they've got a website. They also have a class that is all geared towards the grid method that will take you through step by step at your own pace to really master what the grid method is. This is kind of an overview about what it can do for you, but just know that they do have a website, they have a podcast, and there's a Facebook group too if you want support.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Hey, it's Tyler here. I'm just gonna give you a little break. So if you need to go do something, you need to go use the restroom, get a snack, get something to eat, whatever, you can go do that. I was gonna chat with you about some stuff, give you some time to do that and check in, maybe say hi. If you want in the chat, let's do a little check-in. In the chat, how you feeling? Toss in your emoji of how you feeling right now. Let's do a little emoji checkup, if you will. So while you're doing that, I do want to give, you know what? I spent a lot of time writing this book, and I genuinely think this book is going to help you in your classroom. It's gonna inspire you more than anything. It's a read with me, and one of the things that I feel like I've never been the smartest dude in the room. I've never been, the most talented, but I'll say this, I was always been pretty approachable, I think. I've been approachable, and I think what this is, I've tried to be as relatable as possible. I'm talking about my experiences, things I've run into in the classroom, what I've learned as a teacher and as an administrator and as a student, what I learned. And so this is the Baller Teacher Playbook. If you're interested in checking this out, I recommend. Of course, I recommend. It's my book. It's not the best book on education, but I think it's good enough to help you in some way. It's got a lot of practical experience in it. I've got quotes. That's a do you boo boo. I could have picked a better chapter. Here's one thing. I want to show you one thing that I did at the end of each chapter, because I know teachers. Okay, I put in practical application. I put in reflection, because we know reflection is important, even though we never have time to do it. But it's got spots for you to write that in. So this is something you can work on by yourself or with your team. But here's the part that I did, and this is legit just for teachers. I don't know if you can see that. I put in, at the end of each chapter, I have a section called TLDR. That's internet talk for too long, didn't read. So what that means is, let's say you've got a team meeting, okay? Because there's 18 chapters in here. That means you and your team, or you and your building, you can go through a chapter once a week. You meet on your planning period, spend 10 minutes talking about what you did, what you tried, what worked, what didn't work, stuff to help improve your class and improve your students. Every week you can do that. Have you ever done this? In the chat, be honest, you ready? Have you ever had a team meeting where you're supposed to read something and you're walking over to the meeting and you're like, oh no, I forgot to read the thing I'm supposed to read that we're gonna discuss for like 15 minutes. So you just try to chill and hopefully don't get called on or get called out for not reading it. At the end of each chapter, I have a section called TLDR, where in 2 to 5 bullet points, I summarize the chapter. So you could be walking to the meeting, you could read these 3 or 4 bullet points and be able to have a conversation about the entire chapter. There's stories in here, there's practical experience, there's ways that I messed up, ways that I failed, and then ways that I feel like I succeeded, and I'm just talking through what I learned from both of those. And I would love for you to learn and grow with me. So if you want to check out that book, it's on Amazon. I'll have the link on the screen if you want to get it. Link is in my bio. I link links everywhere to it. So Baller Teacher Playbook. I think it can help you in your classroom. Okay, we're about to get started. Kick back into it. Hopefully you're ready to roll, ready to go. And let's jump back in. Let's jump back in like Michael Phelps. Okay. Well, does that work? Does that work? I mean, he jumps into the pool. That's what I was going for. I need to know more like high diver. High divers would have been better. I'll tell you this. We're gonna stick the landing like Carrie Strug. Y'all remember her? Carrie Strug. Remember the Olympics? Georgia Olympics? Atlanta Olympics? You remember that? It's okay. It's a very narrow narrow reference. All right, let's get started. Let's kick it off. Let's jump back in. Get your notes out. Get your screens pulled up. Get your coffee ready. Get your ice water, your sweet tea. If you're from Arkansas like me, you know you like that sweet tea. And we're about to kick it off. Here we go. Let's get back in. Let's get back in. I'll see you guys.
All right, we are almost done. This last part, it's kind of a quick run through of some of the resources I have, and you have access to this presentation. It's the same presentation we talked about at the very beginning. It's where I'm running through all of these different resources that you can use to personalize and differentiate in your classroom. And I've got templates for you. I want you to take them, use them, and I'm going to just do a quick run through of those. And so take that and use it however you see fit. All of them are available in the presentation or tarveracademy.com/resources. This is the last session. You're almost done. Let's go, guys. Let's finish strong and let's learn and get some stuff we can use in our class. Here we go.
When you guys start school, you may be getting a group of students that you don't know yet. You may not have, you may have seen them in the halls, but you may not know them personally. One of the most important things I think that educators can do the first day is not only get to learn who their students are, but even more important, show their students that they care to know who they are. If you're a teacher that stands up and just, I'm going to teach about this today, or I'm going to talk about this, your students feel like they're audience members at a movie theater. When you go to the movies, if you're sitting and watching a movie at home, do you feel like those actors care about you? No, they care about telling you or showing you whatever they want to show you. Sometimes we as teachers get so focused on what we need to accomplish as teachers that we might not be showing or servicing our students in a way that they feel like they are seen. And so here's an activity, a template you can have to not only get to know your students, show your students you care about them, but you can almost use it as a practice run to get them used to doing things in Google Slides. Here's the cool thing. When you incorporate technology, even if you're in person, when you incorporate technology, what you're doing is you're giving your students a practical skill that they can take anywhere. When I taught Pythagorean theorem, how often do you use Pythagorean theorem in real life? You're like, oh, I used it this morning making breakfast. Probably not. Students don't use Pythagorean theorem forever, but you know what they do use? They use Gmail. They create things in Google Docs. They might be making a Google slide. They might be using technology to leverage what they're doing in whatever job they choose. So my goal is to not only teach you my subject, but teach you how to leverage technology so that you can use that in any job you want. So we want them to learn Google Slides. You can click this, you can make a copy of this. And then from this, what your students are going to do is they're all going to jump in and you're essentially going to build a presentation about your class, about your students and the people in your class. And I put the instructions in there. So if you're like, Tyler, I don't remember all the things you told me to do. I don't remember all the things you told me to say whenever I'm presenting this. You don't have to remember. Just assign it and say, okay, guys, read this and work on it. And what they'll do is it works through clearly communicating what I want them to do. And in it, I've got tutorials. So let's say they are looking at number 1, add a new slide to this presentation. Cool. They might know how to do that. I can go in and add a new slide. Or if they don't, they can click on this link and it shows them how to do it. They don't have to ask, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, how do I do this? They can just go in and learn it. And then you're walking around just talking to students, asking them questions. You choose where you're helping as opposed to having to help every little thing that happens. And so you have the students create their presentation and then you can show it to anybody you want. Now, I want to show you guys something, just a quick tip. Whenever I showed you earlier, I said, hey, if you click on these templates, it'll ask you to make a copy. You might be thinking to yourself, that's pretty neat. How do I automatically or force somebody to make a copy of something? Up here in the address bar, where it says the word edit, all you do is you highlight from the slash, you take the E in edit, highlight it, delete it, and write the word copy, COPY. Now you can take that link of whatever it is, your doc, your slide, your form, your sheet, whatever you have, you can make a copy automatically of that. So there's an activity, and not only an activity you can do with students, but if you're a principal or a building leader or a headmaster or whoever's in charge of your building, when you're getting back together with your teachers before students come back to school, you can do this as an activity to get to know your teachers, to get to know the people that you work with. Here's another template if you want it. This is I call it the first day recon. One of the things you do on the first day of school is you want to get to know your students. You want a list of their parents' email addresses, their parents' phone numbers. You want a list of all of the things that you need to know to jumpstart your relationship and build rapport with your students. This is a template for that. If you want it, you can have that. And here's one of my favorite. This right here is one of my favorite things on this form is asking what their favorite social media account to follow is, because that's a free and easy way for you to go in and I could just follow it. Like say I have 10 students that say their favorite Instagram account is House of Highlights. Well, then I could just go in and I could follow House of Highlights. Then that gives me a conversation starter with my students every day, because I could be like, hey, did you see, Kevin Durant do this thing last night on House of Highlights? So like, oh yeah, that was incredible. I don't have to know anything about basketball or anything about Kevin Durant. I could just watch a 10-second video and have a conversation with a student, and they see that I've walked this far to get to know them, and so they'll walk a little bit further to get to know you. Okay? You can use that collaborative presentation idea that we talked about whenever you assign students. So one of my favorite ways to teach students is to go in and give them a blank presentation. I just like give them a blank slideshow. And then from that, I have them build the presentation. Because here's the thing, in education, whoever is doing the work is doing the learning. How many of you guys have learned so much about your subject because you built the presentation, you built the lesson? What if we, for some of our lessons, we give them a shared blank slide and we have them do the research? We have them find the videos or find the examples, and then they build the presentation. So I could give them this blank presentation, and then I can say, all right, guys, go in, pick a slide, work with your partner, and you're going to build out the presentation. And then in 20 minutes, we're all going to present, and you're going to take turns presenting your slide. And you can have students create the work. Whoever is doing the work is doing the learning. So let's make our students do the work. Okay? Now you're asking, well, Tyler, that's cute, but how do I either create a copy for every student, or how do I give it to where everybody can go in and edit at the same time? If you're using Google Classroom, they made this very easy. As soon as you assign a doc or a slide or a sheet or a presentation, you can go in and you can choose if everybody can look at it, if everybody can edit that one file like we did with the getting to know you slideshow, or if we want every student to have their own copy. And I hit that and it goes and it makes a copy for every single student in my classroom. One of the other things that you could do if you wanted to, and you could make this, or you can use what I've got, or you can make it, start the discussion. Ask your students their opinion. Ask them their thoughts on different things. So you could go in. So I don't know if you guys have bell ringers. I don't know if you guys do those. A lot of teachers I know, they do bell ringers. So as soon as the bell rings or as soon as class starts, they have like a quick assignment that their students do, and they start working while the teacher goes and takes roll. Now, while the teacher's taking roll, those students are trying to learn from a problem they wrote on the board. What you could do is you can use video of yourself or someone else to create a discussion, to start the conversation, or to even take virtual attendance. You can do that with your students by just assigning those consistently. What I recommend is find a YouTube channel, or you can create it yourself. And it can be as simple as you open up Google Classroom on your phone and you go in and you are sitting there and you're just chatting about whatever's going on that day. And you could go in and upload the video directly into Google Classroom. Google Classroom on their app goes directly, uploads into there. It doesn't go to YouTube, it goes into Google Drive. So I could go in and I go, hey class, what's up? It's Mr. Tarver. I'm so excited about learning with you today. And you may be looking at me in the class right now while you watch this video. That's okay. What I want to do is in our Google Classroom, underneath this video, I want you to comment. What is your favorite pizza place in the world? What's your favorite pizza place? I'll tell you mine. I love a place called Blaze Pizza. I think they have the best pizza, and I like to put broccoli on it. And you may think that's gross, broccoli, but it tastes really good when they heat it up. So in the chat, tell me your favorite pizza place and why it's your favorite pizza place. I'll see you guys when we start class in a second. Boom. You upload that video. They can now give their comments and their thoughts. If I would have asked them to solve the quadratic formula or talk about parenthetical citation, they might not know. And if they don't know, they might not comment, which means they're not starting the discussion. I want to start that discussion with something easy so that students can participate later when we're talking about the lesson. Okay. So if you want, I've got this quote of the day video series. You can click that link. If you like this, it's where I spend like 2 minutes. I read a famous quote and I tell the students in the video, I say, hey, in your class, I'm going to read the quote, but I'm going to give you my thoughts on it, but I care about your thoughts. So in your Google Classroom or in your notes, you tell me your thoughts on the quote and if you agree or disagree with me. So I would go in, you can use these videos. I've got enough videos for you to use one every day for the school year. And you can go pull those videos and paste them into your Google Classroom. Or if you wanted to, I actually have a notebook. Has anybody in there used a digital notebook over the past year and a half? Anybody? So I'm going to give you a couple templates for those. I'm going to show you those templates. But what you can do is you can go in and I have all those videos put into a digital notebook to where you can make a copy. And then you could go in and assign this in Google Classroom and make a copy for each student. And I even gave a video of instructions for students. So you don't even have to explain to students how to do this. You could just go in and you could have them click and watch this video right here. So the students would put their name here. They'd put what subject it is. This is that stuff we talked about earlier with the Google Help videos that they're looking here instead of asking you. Then they go into week 1 and they can go in and they can watch a video. And it's me talking about a quote, and I'm saying, hey, here's a quote. Give me your thoughts on this quote. I even have instructions over here for your students. Now, you can have them do this while you're taking attendance. This is a chance for them to start the conversation, hear their opinion, and also get some deep thought. I had a teacher saw my video where I was talking about this resource, and she teaches 7th grade English in California. And she sent me an email of all the thoughts her students had throughout the year. It was like this huge, amazing group of students who were sitting there learning and agreeing and disagreeing. And can we talk about this? They passionately but respectfully disagreed with me. How amazing would it be to teach that skill set in our students to where they know how to passionately stand by what they believe in, but also they're willing to be kind in how they approach that with other people. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I've seen that where I live, where it's very important, I think, for people to learn how to be kind with what they're passionate about and not be disrespectful to others. And so it's a chance for them to give their thoughts on the quote. They put their thoughts in, they rewrite the quote, and they can even put notes right here, and they can write those notes directly in the slide. And they can essentially use this like it's a notebook that I handed them. It's like I said, hey, here's your journal. Go out there and fill in this quote of the day journal, but it's digital. Now, Here's one thing I like, and think of how you could adapt this to what you're doing in your class. Right here, I gave instructions. How much do you agree with Tyler's interpretation? And it's like a scale. And so I can get a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and they drag it onto the scale. And then it says down here, drag an emoji from the above to the bottom line to rate this quote. They can be like, this quote is fire. I love this quote. So they can do this right here. So you're going in and you're getting your students' opinions about something that matters and they can apply to their life. We want to make it personal for them. If you want a general notebook that's kind of easy to-do list so your students can organize stuff, here is a template for a notebook that you can have and you can give to your students. Here's the deal. You could go in and you could fill in what you want them to do during the week, and then you could assign it to your students. And that way they all are looking and going through the same assignments. Or you could give them this as a blank template. It's essentially like giving your students a binder or a trapper keeper or a notebook or a journal that they get to fill in and work out of. So they could go in, they could look at their week, or you could fill this in, and then they can write in their to-do list. I need to watch, that math video. And then you could go in and you can make this a link so they don't have to go find it. And then you could say, oh, I want to go slope, Tarver, okay? And they could go in and you could attach a YouTube video directly in the checklist. And then when a student gets done, I've got instructions down here so that they could just click on the box and they could fill in the box whenever they're done with that challenge. So they can work through their to-do list. The more organized we are, it makes us efficient and it clears up the communication with our students, because that saves us time and it saves frustration. Have you guys ever been frustrated trying to learn some technology? Maybe it's been Google and you don't know how to do it and you get frustrated and it totally turns you off to what you're about to learn because you can't even figure out how to start the thing that you want to do. With this, you could go in and you could do exactly that. Like you could lay out and erase the confusion and bring clarity to your students. Here's another one. We talk about personalizing and seeing each student for who they are and what they care about. Let's say you're like, you know what? It's important to me that my students have a positive outlook, that my students are thankful and grateful for the things of this world, the things that they have. Even if they don't have a lot, I want them to be thankful and grateful for the things they do have, because if they're sitting in my class, that means that they're here. They have another day where they can do something. They have something to be thankful for. This right here is a template for a daily student reflection journal. And so there's a ton of research studies that indicate that for adults and children alike, whenever we take a small amount of time in our day, like especially in the morning, we take time to reflect on what we're thankful for, we lead more productive, positive, fulfilling lives, because we're going in and we're actually taking we're not moving on to the next thing, or we're not stressed about what we have to do here or here or here. We're going in and we are building this, efficacy. We're building this strength of character in these students to be appreciative of what they have in life. So this notebook, this template you can have right here, this is a daily reflection journal. So students can go in and they can say, okay, how am I feeling today? And they can say, you know what? I feel good. Or, you know what? I feel fire. You know what? I feel like trash. I feel like trash. I feel like trash sometimes when I wake up. Or maybe they're sad and they drag the circle over how they feel. Now, here's the deal. If you assign this in Google Classroom and you make a copy for each student, you can go in and see how they feel every day. It's a chance for a student to maybe reach out and say, you know what? I feel sad today. And you might not know it. Maybe they were just sitting in class. They were a little extra quiet, but you're looking there and you're like, I don't know what's going on with them. But you could go in and you could see this, and then you could go and address that student individually. Then they would list out the 3 things they're thankful for. I'm thankful for, my family. I'm thankful for my teacher, because they're always thankful for us, aren't they? They love us so much. We're so great. And I'm thankful for, my dog. Maybe they like their dog. They could say what they're thankful for. Then they could say what their favorite thing they learned yesterday was, which is reflecting on the day before, or they could go in here and they could say what well, they can go in here and say what they want to accomplish for the day. I know we're almost out of time, so I'm about to finish up. I just wanted to show you, I'm going to talk through so you can have these resources. This is the digital lesson plan you can have. This is applicable for any grade level. These are, I think, geared more towards high school lesson plan. There's a template you can use there as well. Team meetings, we want to be productive in our team meetings, so we're always getting better. You can use that. Here's a tutorial and some stuff on Canva, so you can make custom Google Classroom headers. Create community in your class. I've got some examples there. Run some surveys so you can get to know your students and your parents. This is a parent contact form I want you to have. This is a classroom discipline form I want you to have. This is a discipline form, but for positive actions, because we want to appreciate and respect and honor things that students do that were good. This is a form where students fill out their own discipline. This is a template and instructions on how to make custom Google form headers. Here's how you can make a resource page for your students. Here's how you can teach videos and curriculum to teach your students to be safe and productive online. Here's a cheat sheet for you that you can use as a teacher. If you're struggling with Google, it's a cheat sheet you can use. And I've got some more resources here you can have and on my website. The last thing I want to leave you with is one of my favorite quotes. And we used to ask this for teachers when we interviewed teachers. It was the last question I would ask. And I would look at them when these teachers wanted to work in our district, and I would say, James Comer once said, no significant learning occurs without a significant relationship. What does that mean to you? And most teachers, because we get into this profession because we want to make a difference and we want to get to know our students. We don't get into it because we love math or history or science. We may love those things, but we get into teaching because we want to make a difference in each and every student's life. We want to help them. We want to see those aha moments. We want to see them take where they are and move forward. We want to encourage them, and we want to be something in their story that helps them move forward and achieve things that they may have never thought they could. We want to encourage them, and we want to help our students get better every single day. And by them to choose and reflect on them to never stop learning, we are going to show that in how we learn and how we adapt and how we use the resources we have in front of us. So I encourage you to go do that today. Be that teacher in the classroom who makes a difference in each and every student's life. Be the teacher who sees every student, and you can leverage all these things to save yourself time, so you actually have time to be the teacher that each and every student needs in your classroom.
We did it. We did it. We learned something. Did you learn something today? In the chat, I want you to put the thing that you are taking away from today. Put one thing in the chat right now that you have learned or that you have realized or that's reinforced something you think. Put that one, that I like to call this the golden nugget. Put the golden nugget from today in the chat. And that way, if somebody's missed it or they checked in, go ahead and you guys can copy paste what other people put. If there's some advice, you can screenshot it. Get this. I want you to throw in the best thing you learned today. It's like a best of highlight reel for your favorite thing that happened during this training. Toss that in the chat right now so we can share and grow together. Okay, we're about to do the evaluation. Before we do, I want to remind you, if you want access to this entire training at any time throughout the year, not just these live broadcasts, you can join the Tarver Academy Honor Roll. Why'd I do this? Hey guys, Tarver Academy Honor Roll. It's like Netflix for teachers. Netflix for teachers, because you have resources, you have templates, you have PDs, trainings. It's literally like a library of trainings, and then access to ask questions, to request resources that I build and send out to teachers all around the world. So tarveracademy.com/honor honor roll. If you want to join the greatest community on the planet, and I'm not biased at all. I mean, all of us, you're on the honor roll. You want to be on the honor roll? Sick. Let's all be on the honor roll. And I'm a dean, so keep me on the dean's list. Hey, that works. Okay. All right. Now it's time for your evaluation. I'd love to get your thoughts on what you thought for this, but also I'm going to send you a certificate saying that you sat through this training. You put in the time. You wanted to learn. You wanted to grow. You wanted to get better. This is going to be a certificate that I'm going to email to you. What I need you to do is I need you to go to the link on the screen or hover over the QR code with your phone. Get your phone out, hover over it. It's going to ask you a few questions. If you don't get this, it means that you put your email address in wrong. Make sure, please do not rush this. Type your email address in correctly. Please, I'm begging you, because if not, you're gonna email me, I never got my certificate. It's because your email address is wrong. Type in your email address correctly, fill it out, fill out your name, make sure you capitalize, make it look good, because it's gonna fill into the certificate from this. So I need you to put this in correctly, please. Okay, go there, we're gonna walk you through it. Go into this, click on the link, or you can't click on the link because it's on a video. Type in the link on your computer or type it in on your phone or whatever device you have. Scan the QR code, fill it out. I'm gonna send you a certificate with a timestamp on it saying what time you ended. You have proof from earlier if you sent in to the other link of what time you started. And then you also got your notes and all the stuff you've learned, your screenshots, all of that to show your administrator or whoever, your spouse, you show your friends, show people on the streets, all the learning that you did. You can frame that certificate. I think we're all getting framed. You get it framed, I'm getting framed. I'm gonna put it up on my shelf. I got too much stuff on my shelf already. So look at this, Lonzo Ball rookie card. If you got any, by the way, you got any basketball cards you wanna sell, hit me up. I've been slightly obsessed with basketball cards and I apologize for bringing it up. Look at this, this is all Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball, I mean, he's the GOAT. Everybody says it. Who's in the chat? Who is your favorite basketball player of all time? I'd love to know. If it's Lonzo Ball, it's quite the coincidence because I had it sitting on my desk. If not, it's probably this guy. Probably this guy right here. See that guy? That's Michael Jordan. No big deal. It's whatever. Don't like to brag about it. I mean, it's not that expensive, that card. But if you got any cards you want to sell, holler at me. I don't know why I said that. I'm just stalling so you guys can fill out your evaluation. All right. Y'all feel good? I'm gonna leave this on the screen for you for a little while in case you had to step out for a second. I'm gonna leave this up. Thank you again so much for your attention and your time and everything that you put into learning and growing with us today. I'm Tyler, this is Tarver Academy. Let's learn and have fun. See you guys later.